Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 3 of the UltraNet Supercup 2014 season. It's a track that's hated by many, but personally loved by me. I don't think we give this track enough love. It's the Sakhir International Circuit, and we're here on this lovely Wednesday evening to enjoy one feature and one sprint race of what we're hoping to be some fantastic entertainment. We've had a brilliant first 2 rounds of the season so far. Can we make it 3 in a row? Taking you through tonight, as always, is myself, James Kirk, and alongside me is Liver on the Coast. He has a lot of hair, and he likes hats. It's Lewis McGlade. How are you, good sir?
I am good. I mean, you say you like this track. I detest it massively. It's definitely not one of my favourites. But, you know, it can provide some good racing. So, you know, hopefully from a spectator standpoint, it'll actually be interesting. And as we've seen from Super Cup so far, we've had the first round where it was a double for Sven de Vries. Not Sven de Vries, Sky Canton, who took the feature race and the sprint race. And then 2 weeks later, in Malaysia, it was Sven de Vries who took both wins and the championship lead. So, are we going to get the same story today? I kind of feel not. I get the feeling that we're going to have something a bit more evenly distributed with the wins. But yeah, no rain predicted. It's all going to be sunny from start to finish. It's hopefully going to be another good one.
I must say, I'm not going to provide another rain pun after the Indianapolis Super Cup broadcasting last year. That was bad times for me as a commentator. But seriously, Bahrain has been decidedly British over the course of the last week or so. And we did actually have a tiny spit of rain in the Formula Challenge yesterday. But for Super Cup and Super League, should be lovely and sunny. And as you say, I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it? We bring 2 races to the board now in Super Cup. We have a reverse race of 6 to 10 cars. And yes, both sprint races so far have been really good fun, provided great racing, but have provided almost exactly the same result on the podium as the race before it. And it will be interesting to see whether we see that form continue today. We're just about to head into qualifying, and leading the field by quite a confident 3 to 4 tenths actually is Kevin Siggy for Positive Simracing. And Positive has been one of those teams which had a lot of hype around it. There was a lot of people expecting them to come into GPVWC and to make a real good impact, but whether they've been off the pace, genuinely, or just through bad luck, they're not really anywhere. They're not even in the top 10 in the Teams Championship, but this is a real chance for them to turn it around. They have Kevin Siggy there in P1, and their usual driver, Balash Remenyik, who we never even talk about during the races because he's so inconspicuous, has been replaced for at least tonight by Santiago Niza, who's put his Positive in P6. Now, Santiago is a driver who I've actually paired up with once before. He's been joined with Bastwick and JRT in the Formula Challenge, and he is a very quick driver, it must be said. Hasn't exactly had the results to show his pace in Formula Challenge, but here, he's P6 already in one of the strongest Super Cup fields ever, and he'll be looking to make a real impact, and I have a sneaking suspicion he might just be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he puts in a bit of practice, he tends to be up there. Positive, though, they've been dealt with some really, really poor luck over the previous couple of rounds, especially with Kevin Siggy. I mean, I've seen some of his races and spoke to him a little bit afterwards, and it's the luck he has dealt with is not good. You know, when you kind of look at a driver and you're like, oh, wow, that is unfortunate, because he's got the pace and it's always been there. The previous 2 rounds were done, and of course here with that 35.899, he's clearly got the pace. Whether he can replicate that in the qualifying session and move that on into the 2 races, we'll have to wait and see. But you know, I think I'm going to keep hopeful for Kevin this time that he might be able to push himself further forward. I think the first one out onto track for us today is the Daytona 500 champion Matt Richards, who is lining up at the end of the pit lane.
Nicknamed Kevin the Angry Austrian, and to be absolutely honest, he has every right to be. And on that note, actually, we should talk about the the one penalty which is going to be applied here today. So there were 10-place grid penalties given out after Malaysia. One was to Dan Rusu for Centurion, and Centurion have endured an awful start to the season, whereas they were on a late charge coming up from the back last year. I fear they're going to be in a similar situation this year. No, they are the only team so far not to have scored a single point, though in the hands of Terence Gretsch, who is taking over Dan Rusu's seat for at least tonight. I think they might actually have a chance to get on the board at least, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Dan Rusu still has to serve that 10th place when he returns. That may very well be next round in China. The other 10th place is to Emmanuel Gagzella, who will be serving his second 10th place grid penalty in a row. And that was not due to escaping and qualifying and going back out again. That was for contact with Kevin Siggy, which ultimately took both himself and the Austrian out of race 1 in Malaysia. So, Emmanuel, we've been talking about him having a really difficult start to the season. This won't be helping, will it? And we saw this we've seen this in a sense with a lot of drivers who like to lead from the front and pull away and really just enjoy the free air. When you put them in the midfield, as you've put Emmanuel in the midfield, and where he has to battle, he really struggles, and he's really starting to show for it as well.
Yeah, I mean, he played about quite nicely in the latter part of last season in Formula Challenge, but obviously, there's been quite a lot of time difference between Formula Challenge and Super Cup, and I know that between that he's done a couple of stock car leagues and things like that, where obviously cars very different. Coming back into this open wheeled environment where he's not so dominating, it's going to leave some sort of effect, but it's a long championship. We've got 15 rounds, including the one tonight, to go. Which, because the 2-race format, that's 30 races until the end of the championship, and the checker flag flies in Brazil, I believe in October. There's a long time to go until then. So he may put himself back towards the front. I personally don't think he's in the championship contention, or will be. His pace hasn't been mind-blowingly impressive so far. I think it is between Oscari and Sven, obviously, at the moment, with the 2 championship leaders that we've had so far this year. But I think these mistakes will stop, but it's
going to take a bit of time.
It's going to take a bit of time, yeah.
Well, let's go on board with Matt Richards here, who's going to provide us with our first competitive lap time in Bahrain. And Matt Richards has provided a real buoyant effect on TSA. With Thomas Jacobs and Cameron Brewster, I was convinced that they were going to finish below P10 in the team's championship. With Matt Richards on board, I reckon he is going to catapult that team possibly into 7th to 10th, shall we say, by the end of the season. TSA are already 10th in the championship, and Matt Richards has been looking pretty strong here, actually, you must have said. He was P9 in the free practice session before this, and his first time of 1:36.7, a little bit off the pace, but has taken him into P2. P1 currently held now by Ascari Kantonen, who has been looking a little bit off the pace since his such dominant win. Well, not dominant it should be, but they were very strong wins in Australia after coming through the field.
Yep, Kevin Siggy's just jumped up into P1 on a 36.1. I reckon we'll have a 35.9, maybe 35.8 for pole. But to go back to Matt and how he's going to catapult that team further forward. He has recently, as it wasn't broadcast, I thought I should say that he has recently won the Daytona 500 and the Masters Championship, which was quite good. So coming into this, very very different kind of style of racing. Can he impress as much? He needs to go a lot faster than that if he wants to impress. But I'm sure he will. But current P2 has just been changed to Tom Parker on a 36.259, 1,000th faster than Darry Tapper. And
Parker had a great Malaysia, didn't he? After such a disappointing Australia round, he really bounced back well to take 2 podiums and has catapulted FA up into 6th in the championship, and only 6 points behind Simcraft, who are expected to be running away with the championship by now.
Oh, Philip Pushka, 35.5.
Oh, whoa! Well,
wow.
We talked about Pushka having a fantastic Malaysia after not qualifying and coming through to finish in the top 10 both times. That just shows
impressive.
How good a driver he is. But remember Australia, and remember that we were saying we were expecting him to win. He took pole position in Australia. but his tyre wear is known to not be as good as the other drivers.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of the drivers earlier on as Kevin Siggy does a 35.864 where I thought Paul was going to be. Is that a couple of drivers think that this will be marginal on a one-stop strategy. Obviously, with people that have better tyre wear, that's not going to be the case. It's just going to be a straight-off one-stop. But I think we'll have the same kind of strategy calls that we had in Australia, where it's marginal on the 1 to 2, not the 2 to 3. So. Yeah, I think we may be seeing a few one-stoppers from the front, so that might hinder Pushka quite a bit. But we did see in Malaysia that he had learnt from his tyre wear and had pulled that further forward. So either way, that 35.5, very, very impressive from Philip Pushka.
And it's going to be hard to beat with 9 minutes left to go, about halfway through qualifying now. Your top 10 are Pushka, Siggy, Cullen in P3. That's a fantastic qualifying from the Irishman so far. We then have Muscat, Parker, Dawei Tapper, who's looking to bounce back from 2 quite disappointing rounds, actually. He's been mourning the loss of good points because of strategy failures. And then he's followed by Kantonen, James Johnson, who's filling in for Miko Sukas, who currently sits P4 in the Drivers' Championship. So Sukas is going to be really hindered in his championship charge by not being here today. Adrian McNaughton's MP9. And Matt Richards is P10, and we're actually just hearing through from Dave Carr-Smith, our cameraman, once again tonight, so thank you very much, Dave, that apparently Miko Sukas has pulled out from the season because he's got a new job, which, to me personally, means a huge loss to the championship. Miko was one of those guys who we thought, next season is going to be his real chance to shine, and if he's pulled out this early, that is a real shame.
Menno Klontz just smashed the pit lane entry wall. Wow, P11. He's really hit it hard. Just sliding under braking into the pit lane.
Oh gosh, yeah, I see that. Deary me.
But he had good pace last time out as well. Menno Klont. I've seen he has pretty decent pace here as well, so he might be one to look out for later on. He's gone back into the pit lane, so that's all fine.
Is that slightly dangerous to be going into the pit lane, going the other way on the track though? I mean.
Yeah, that will be a penalty.
We've just that's straight off. You know,
I think we saw Sven de Vries do that in Abu Dhabi last year. That was a definite penalty. Alex Cooper also jumped up into 4th position on 36.011, ahead of Jason Muscat, Tom Parker, Darryl Tapper, Oscar Canton, and James Johnson and Adrian McNaughton. Also to shout out about James Johnson, he is the current Formula Challenge Championship leader by about 32 points, something like that. It's 43 points. Now I remember, 43 points, and James Johnson is leading the Formula Challenge Championship, and to say that he's 9th here talks of the strength of this grid.
Absolutely. And the last time we saw James Johnson in the Super Cup actually was in Brazil, where he scored, I think it was 6th or something. But to be brutally honest, you can't really tell how good a driver he is from that race, because we had so many retirements in Brazil in, of course, what was only the one race back then. It's very hard to judge how strong he was. To see him in P9, I think, will be good for him, especially given that he's had not much time in the car. I'd imagine the whole Sukas issue must have been quite a recent thing, because he says that today was his first time, or today or yesterday was his first time in the car, full stop. To see him in P9, I think, is a very good testament to how good a driver he just is, and if he does manage to get points for the Street Fighter team today, then that'll be excellent. Oh, Menno Klont's gone again! Menno Klont's gone again. I was keeping an eye on him as he went round on this hot lap, and he's just clattered the wall
Gary
out
Canton
of
to 4th.
12, and that's terrible for Menno, isn't he? He's looking bad, and as you rightly say, Canton up into 4th, that will do him good. Currently 2nd in the championship, behind Sven de Vries, who I have not seen all qualifying, I should say. So Sven de Vries is on a lap now, currently sitting P30 out of 30 drivers.
Goes to 5th.
Not too good. Goes to 5th. That's better, though still not ahead of Ascari Canton. And we'll go through the full top 10 standings for you after qualifying. But the battle at the front between Canton and De Vries at the moment is 13 points.
Florian Guy moves himself up into 10th position. I think that was Maurice Bracan who's moved up to 13th. I am going to go out on a whim and say that time from Pushka ain't going to get beaten. That is your pole time right there. I've not seen a 35.5. I've seen 35.8 was probably the fastest time that I'd seen before this. So, I think 35.5, that's going to be your pole time.
He's not even on another lap, is he? Unless he's planning to go at the end of the session. I mean, I had a similar situation with one of my drivers in Formula Challenge last night, Scott Beresford, who did a 1:42.0 or something like that. Or basically, he got on the front row. He did like 2 qualifying laps, and then he just said, "That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to go any faster than that." And I imagine Pushka might be thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Not much point in risking a penalty.
Well, the thing is with Pushka, it's the second sector. I get the feeling. I'm just riding a ball with Kevin Siggy now. He was 2,000ths up in the first sector, but dropped 4/10ths in the middle. And the middle sector looked good. You know, it looked like a strong middle sector as he comes across the line. Just 36.1, so dropped quite a lot in the final as well. But I get the feeling it's that second sector. The first sector is not really too much to it. It's a braking zone around a couple of corners and then straight, so it's not particularly difficult. And so it's all in that second sector, I feel.
Also, shout out to Emmanuel Gaxella, who remembers that 10th-place grid penalty, only P21 at the moment.
Wow.
So he has got a long way to go.
Remember, if we remember back, use our little thinker boxes and go back to Australia, he was really struggling qualifying. He kept crashing out. He kept going off, which is what resulted in his 10th-place grid penalty last time out, because he had to escape back to pit lane and then return to track, which obviously, for those of you new to GPVWC, will result in a 10th-place grid drop if you do not return.
Oh, and he's lost it again. He's lost it out of the exit of turn 9, and he's got to really get a wriggle on. I'd say 2 more laps potentially for Gaxella. But yeah, it's the same case over and over again. That Romanian is not happy with that Super Cup car, and I'm not sure whether it's just his setup preference that he wants to hang it out on the edge, or whether he doesn't like the car fundamentally. But at this rate, he's going to be starting at the back of the grid.
Yeah, I've also just seen that Matt Rich has moved up into 12th, and Terence Grech has moved himself up into 14th. James Johnson moved himself back up into the top 10 on 36.257. But the grid looks really, really spread out on the times because of the 3.5 gap that Philip Pushka has pulled for himself to Siggy. So that's why the top 10 looks to spread out. When you actually think about it, the top 10, excluding Pushka, is separated by about 0.5 of a second. So that's very impressive.
Really close times, isn't it? Also, shout out actually to Bruno Sousa Ferreira, who's driving the Scuderia Basilia car in place of... It's not Mika Jäkkinen, it's Yuri Oggiano.
Yeah.
Bruno Sousa Ferreira has been taking advantage of GPVWC's brand new Career Ladder Series, the Open Series, where drivers can come in if they don't have a contract or if they have a reserve contract with a team and are not driving in anything else, and can just show what they can do. And Bruno has won all 3 Open Series races to date. I've said that he should be more competitive in Formula Challenge, and that's where he should be, but because of work constraints, he can only really do Super Cup. But at the moment...
Muscat.
He's not
Sorry.
last. Oh, Muscat?
Muscat up into second. A 35.859. Good job.
That's a very nice time for Muscat, isn't it? We were worried that he'd be a bit steamrolled by Kantonen this season, but he's showing that he clearly still could be in Super League if he really wanted to. Remember, he took part in the Super League race in Malaysia for Red Archer and got their best result of the season by a long, long way. He's a really talented driver, is the Maltese, and to me personally, I think this grid is pretty humbled to have a driver of his capacity here, because he really should be a bit higher than what he is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in the Super Cup race in question, Super Cup Super League race in question, that he was driving around the Red Archer, which was by
best car.
I think by R&D it was the best car. But nevertheless, to come in, I think it was pretty last minute when he came in, and to pull that kind of result, very impressive. And to say that he's sitting second on the grid at the moment is very good for him. I wonder if anyone else can improve to beat that time.
Well, we've only got 30 seconds left. Pushka and Muscat are done. Kevin Siggy is out on a lap, and this will be his last one. Cullen's out on the lap. Kantonen, De Vries. De Vries won the last ones to cross the line. I'm going to have a look, see who will be the last one.
Well, Siggy was 6.5 hundredths up on Pushka through the first sector, but as I say, it's all in this second sector, so it's all about how much he's got at the end of this second sector. He got a little bit of a slide coming out of turn 10 there, but I'm going to keep an eye on Siggy for now.
Oh, and how about this? Gaxella in the garage. He will start from the back of the grid.
Wow.
That is desperate times.
Last time he started from the back of the grid, he DNF'd very quickly. Kevin Siggy, 1/10 down.
Okay, could this be it for Kevin Siggy? Let's look to him now. He's on the final straight before the home run. And though it doesn't look like a particularly difficult sector, Sector 3, you need to get your speed and understeer right through the two corners which are there. He comes across the line now. Can he improve? He does improve to a 1:35.580, but it is not enough to topple Philip Pushka. I'm just wondering who else on the lap. Philip Cullen pulls in. Sven de Vries is on the lap.
He's 3/10 down.
Unless he's able to pull 3/10 back, I don't think we will see him improve. Alex Cooper's behind him as well. I see Menno Klons in the wall. He's completely destroyed his car, so he's out of qualifying again, though P10's not a bad starting spot, to be fair, for Motorforce. Sven de Vries improves to P5 with a 1:35.8, and Alex Cooper does improve to a 35.9, but it's not able to move him up, so there we go. Philip Pushka takes his second pole position of the season from Dawei Tapper.
Wow!
Where did he come from? We didn't even see that. Dawei Tapper looking to rebound from two hugely disappointing rounds. He's not even in the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, I didn't. I've just been messaged about Tapper. I was like, what? Where did he come from?
That's slid in absolutely nowhere. So Dawei Tapper, multiple Formula Challenge race winner from last year, has been struggling this season. He's got a real chance to make an impression now. He starts on the front row alongside Pushka. Kevin Siggy starts P3, Positive's best start of the year. Muscat P4, Championship leader De Vries P5, Philip Cullen, fantastic qualifying for him. He's P6 with Ascari Canton, De Vries' main championship leader P7. Alex Cooper starts another disappointing P8. Tom Parker will start P9 for FA. And Florian Geyer, Cooper's teammate, just knocks Menno Klons out the top 10 to start P10 himself. The other big story, of course, is that Emmanuel Gaxella will start from the back of the grid after qualifying P22. And shout out to Bruno Sousa Ferreira, who didn't qualify last. He qualifies P29 for Scuderia Basilia.
Yeah, I'm just biggest impressed with that qualifying session. Dawei Tapper, last minute dive up into P2. Did not see that one coming. Kevin Siggy did a good job to get close to his time, and he was my man in the moment, but Dawei Tapper up into P2, jeez, that is very, very impressive.
I mean, with Philip Pushka, we were surprised to see that time, but at the same time, we know how good a driver he is, so we were kind of thinking, yeah, that's justified. Dawei Tapper qualified in and around 10th position usually. He's not shown that sort of speed.
Well, this is the thing: is that Dawei is a very, very good driver, and he looking at last year in Formula Challenge when he came in midway through the season, got to grips with the car and I think he was the first person to win both races on an evening, won 3 races back to back, and came up in the Super Cup, got a couple. I think he got a podium or 2. Also, the whole Super Cup incident at, I think it was Silverstone, where he ran out of fuel, but was running in a very good position. He shows that he does have pace. This field, I feel, is stronger than last season. I think we can all admit to that this season the Super Cup field is of immense strength. And it seems like now he's starting to get to grips with that. Obviously, putting the car into P2 is a great way to start with getting to grips with that. It's just about whether he can keep it together in the race, whether he'll let it get to him, whether... I don't know what will happen. I don't think he'll let it get to him. I've not really seen Dawei Tapper let a situation get to him, but we'll have to see where it goes.
We've seen the occasion get to him, I think. We've seen him mess up Super Cup strategy multiple times, whether it's been tyre problems or fuel miscalculations or whatnot. Something's always happened to him, and I wonder whether this will be his chance to shine. Let's just go through the top 10 in the championships now. So, of course, De Vries leading on 90 points after getting 2 second places and 2 wins last time out in Malaysia. Canton second on 77 with his teammate Jason Muscat on 50 points. It's quite a close battle there from 3rd to 5th as Miko Sukas, who's now pulled out of the championship, we believe, is on 47, so we'll see him drop down the order reasonably quickly. And Philip Pushka, a real chance to reignite his championship charge. He's on 46 points. Tom Parker, after his great Malaysia, is on 36 points, with Menno Klont 2 points behind him on 34. Alex Cooper, such a disappointment, we should say again. P8 on 28 points. Can he make any more impression on that championship lead now? We'll have to see. His teammate Guy is only 6 points behind him, so at least they're closely matched. And then Emmanuel Gaxella, P10 on 21 points, and he's a good way ahead of Tapper. I think he's maybe 4 to 6 points ahead, I guess. I'm imagining that will change around before the end of the evening. On the team side, Adonis Engineering have a really solid lead on the championship. 127 points, Satellites 95. Then Street Fighter Racing Systems, P3 at the moment, looking pretty good for them on 60 points. PB is 4th on 56, with Simcraft 5th on 50. FA is 6th on 44, with Malta Force 7th on 34. Storm is 8th with 30 points, and then there's a big gap back to Mirzuk and TSA Racing, who are 9th and 10th, but both share 17 points.
Yeah, I really want to quickly point out about something that I've just been told about Adonis. Now, they're clearly going for the race setup because their top speed is apparently 10 k's faster than the people in front. Now, apparently a couple of other teams are running this with I think TSA being one of them. But that advantage on the straight, clearly they're running lower wing, so it's going to be a bit iffy around some parts of the track. Noting like turn 13 and stuff like that, understeer is going to be getting to them. But that 10 km an hour speed advantage is a big advantage.
Well, I mean, I can tell you as a team manager who went for that advantage myself yesterday in Formula Challenge. I mean, you were looking at Scott Beresford, who qualified very well in P2, it should be said, and Cantonen's done well to qualify where he has in the top 10. But nobody could get past Beresford. We were seeing David Junt time and time again get into the slipstream of Beresford, and even in the slipstream, it looked like Beresford was actually pulling away from David Junt because of the pure speed differential. And so I think it's going to be a really interesting start to see who can get ahead of cars, because ultimately those guys with the better top line straight line speed, their job is going to be to defend more than anything. They're not exactly going to be pulling away from anyone, but if they have that top speed to defend well on the straights, then they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, that was the strategy that I was going with last season in Formula Challenge when I was helping with setup with a good couple of friends, with the idea being the easiest way to defend is just to whack your straight line speed straight up, because then they just can't pass you on the straight, and everyone wants to pass on the straight. It's just the easiest way to get past, or to get past to defend, to do anything, is with better straight line speed. So clearly the Adonises are going for that. Now, whether Ascari can pull this back and take his third win of the season and regain that championship lead is something that we've got to wait and see. I don't know if we're going to have a double win tonight, although that time early on by Philip Pushka, whereas the other two that got close were very late on in the session. That time Philip Pushka, I kind of get the feeling that he can repeat that a couple of times, so we'll have to wait and see.
Who's going to be your race winner?
Oh, Cantonen.
Cantonen from P7?
Yeah.
Muscat.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going because I would put my money on Pushka, but I've done that I think twice before now, and it didn't end well. Maybe now moving it off. Maybe now Pushka might take a win. I don't know, but I'm going with Oscar Cantonen. Apparently, cameraman's going with Sven.
Yeah, cameraman's going with Sven. So
it's fair enough.
4, 5, and 7. Yeah, it's fair enough. Top 3 of the championship. Shout. It's a good shout. Let's see if someone can spring a surprise, shall we? It's Philip Pushka then, who leads us up on pole position for PB Racing, with Douwe Tapper. Fantastic qualifying for the Dutchman in P2. We then have Kevin Siggy, our favourite resident Austrian, in P3, with Jason Muscat P4 for Adonis Engineering. Sven de Vries is P5 for Satellite, with Philip Cullen P6 for FA. We then have Ascari Cantonen P7 for Adonis Engineering, with Alex Cooper P8 for Simcraft. Tom Parker is P9 for FA Racing, and Florian Gaia will round out the top 10 in a Simcraft sandwich. Menno Klont after his rather crazy qualifying, he will get a grid place penalty for sure next race. For now, he starts P11. With James Johnson on debut in the Super Cup this season, he will start P12, replacing Miko Sukas, who we believe has left the championship full time. Adrian McNaughton is the primary Storm driver here tonight. He'll start P13. Bart de Vos, who won this race in 2011, actually, can you believe it was that long ago? He starts P14 for Waters Automotive, with Matt Richards starting P15 for TSA. Terence Gretsch on debut in the Super Cup here for 2014 as well. He's starting P16 for Centurion, with Maurice Bracan for PB, Pushka's teammate, starting P17. Ari Nieminen is the best Mia Zurich racing there in P18, with Thomas Jacobs P19 for TSA. Santiago Niza replacing Balázs Remenyuk, a really disappointing qualifying actually, must be said, from the Spaniard. He starts P20 on debut here. Patrick Gatewood is P21 for Motorforce. He's had a pretty disappointing season so far as well, it must be said. With Steve Aloy, P22 for Waters. Mikko Jakinen is P23 for Scuderia Basilia, with Nico Deconic. P24 for Satellite, replacing Brandon Warren. He was usually with the FA racing team, I believe. So that's a change for him. Mike Belt is P25 for Mia Zurich, with Martin O'Connor, P26 for Centurion. Christoph Lichtenstein is P27 for Fox, with Bruso Sousa Ferreira, P28 on debut for Scuderia Basilia. Andreas Waters starts from the pit lane, so it goes from bad to worse for him. And Emmanuel Gaxella then, P10 in the championship. He will start from the back of the grid after his 10th-place grid penalty.
Yeah, we've got nice cooler conditions for this. It's only going to be 30 degrees track temperature, which is a lot cooler than we had 2 weeks ago, and we've got 33 laps to get underway. I'm still going to go with Oscar Cannon for the win.
We'll wait and see whether Mr. Ascari can take his win number 3 of the season. The lights come on now. We've got 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights in here at the Sakir International Circuit. We are away. As a decent start from Pushka. Tapper as well. Tapper gets actually swamped by the two Adonises. What a start from Ascari Canton. He's up into P2 already. Also from Sven de Vries up to P4. He piled down into turn 1. Just looking behind to see whether we've got any contact. A little bit of banging, but actually everyone's through okay though. Canton's gone wide there. And Sven de Vries then is into P2. Pushka's well away into lead already. Matt Richards up to P4. You're having a laugh. He's diving through. Matt Richards into P4. It's had a stupendous start from the Welshman. Ascari Cannons slots back into P3. Kevin Siggy down to P5. Alex Cooper up to P6. Dawei Tapper. Terrible start from him. Down to P7. Jason Muscat down to P4.
Sim Crafters in the background spinning off.
Oh yeah, there's a massive crash back there, isn't there? So that must have involved Gaia, since Cooper's up there. Who is involved in that? Patrick Gatewood. Terence Gretsch is in grief. Santiago Nies is in grief. So he just doesn't find luck at all, does he? Andreas Waters is starting from the pit lane, so he's just trying to get around. Christoph Lichtenstein, his teammate, is missing his front wing as well. So there's a massive crash there entering Sector 2. At the start of it all, though, Philip Pushka with a lead of 1.5 seconds already. He is loving this free air and all the cars going at the start. James Johnson up into the top 10 ahead of the 2FA. So Cullen and Parker had pretty bad starts as well, considering where they were starting. And, well, Philip Pushka coming round the final corner now. I reckon his lead at the start of, or at the end, I should say, of lap 1 is going to be about 2.2. It is 2 seconds.
Flat.
2 seconds
yeah,
there.
P2.
P2. Yep. Oh, here comes Cantonen. Oh, wow. There we go.
That's straight line
speed in effect. Cantonen takes P2 from Sven de Vries, and actually these two have had a fantastic start, haven't they? Starting from the midfield of the top 10. Yeah. Shout out to Matt Richards, though. From P10, he jumped 6 positions in the entirety of Sector 1.
Yeah, it was P15.
P15 even, yeah. So
from the start, he had 2 good starts in Malaysia, like really good. I think it was plus, someone close to plus 10 by the end of the first lap back in Malaysia, and obviously now moving up to P4, getting past the fast people. I think he's running the lower downforce, so hopefully he can defend his way up. But that is a very impressive start from Matt Richards.
He's got to watch out though. Kevin Siggy is right on his back, and we were expecting him to be nearer the front after his not so good qualifying. It's not so good start, we should say. Actually, he had a good qualifying, but the fact of the matter is that he's there in P5, which is significantly better than where he has been in previous races before. And it's not exactly like he's got anyone behind him ready to rear end him. There's a good 1.4 second gap back to Dawi Tapu, who's now under pressure from Alex Cooper. So Siggy hopefully should get through this race. Menno Klontz made good use of that crash in Sector 2. He's up to P8. Jason Muscat down to P9 though. And James Johnson is harrying, well, he would be harrying the back of Jason Muscat if he wasn't being harried by Tom Parker, who's going to look down the inside at the final turn. James Johnson hold on to it nicely though. But I imagine Tom Parker will want to get in the slipstream onto the home straight here. And in fact he does. He's going to be past James Johnson easily into turn 1.
Oh, P4, we've got Kevin Siggy having a look on Matt Richards. Doesn't have the straight line speed to get past. Oh, that's Cooper.
Oh, where's... Oh,
yeah, he's just had a little spin.
Oh, and he's... Oh, dearie. It's not Simcraft season, is it?
It certainly isn't. He's just got Adrian McNaughton going around the outside of him as well. And Bart DeVos, the last time... I think it was the winner last time he came to here in Super Cup. Trying to get past as well. But... Cooper back past McNaughton, still side by side.
Oh, they're still side by side.
Oh, wow.
Norton holding on for this with Dillard. They're still side by side. And Cooper cuts the corner. He's going to have to let McNaughton past. Really. Yes, Cooper. Yes.
Debatably, apparently.
Well, basically, he's just not letting McNaughton through. And because of that, DeVos is round. So, not up to me, but Cooper is a bit naughty there. And yeah, we'll see what the stewards decide with that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, Philip Pushka hasn't really extended his gap massively up here at the front.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just did. Sector 2 split. Bang.
He is bossed that second sector, isn't he?
As I say, it was all in that second sector.
P2. Sven de Vries is going to have a look on Ascari Canton, and in the background there's Kevin Siggy trying to get past Matt Richards as well, who is really holding his own well here in this battle at the front. Not Kevin Siggy, so you can see Philip Pushka flying away in the distance there. We'll keep an eye on his tyre wear though, that's what let him down previously, and look at this, Ascari Canton doing de Vries having a bit of a stab there, but he's doing exactly what Beresford did in Formula Challenge last time out. His top speed is meaning that Sven de Vries, no matter how good his middle sector is or how good his wings are, he can't make an impact on that straight.
Yeah, I also saw Menno Klont was having a little look on Jason Muscat. However, Dawi Tapu, our front row starter, is, I think, starting to close up to the back of Siggy in this fight, basically for second. Oh, P2, Sven de Vries just trying to force his way up the inside of Ascari Canton and doesn't quite get it done, though, on run down to P9 and P10.
I think no matter what Sven de Vries does here, he's not going to get past Canton in the long run, though, isn't he? Because Canton's just going to be there behind him. He's going to need Canton to have a terrible sector. And actually, because of that mistake into turn 9, now Matt Richards has a good snip at the podium. He's going to have a go into turn 10. Here he breaks. Does he have it? Oh, Sven de Vries, you can see that is where his higher wings come into real effects there. And he is back into P3, though Matt Richards, he has a real opportunity here to almost double TSA's point score for the entire season on his own. Which
he did score quite a decent amount of in the previous round as well, so big improvements. Matt Richards at the moment in the first race of the evening. Obviously we've got the sprint race coming up much after this. However, 4 laps down, what is the lead for Philip Pushka? 4.4. So it's quite an impressive lead.
Yeah, Sven de Vries seems to pull a bit back in the first and third. Yeah, Ascari's... I'm pretty sure Ascari's second sector is really going to hurt him now, actually, because just look at this here. You've got Sven de Vries, Matt Richards, Kevin Siggy as well there, and behind Siggy you've got Taprus closing on to the back of him, then Muscat, then Klont, then Johnson, then Parker. They're all in really close vicinity, and actually Johnson going around the outside of turn 4. Lovely move from James Johnson into P8. But Cantonen, I mean, look at him. Sven de Vries just hounding the back of him. He's going to have a dive into this tight right-hand hairpin. Nothing doing there, but can he look into turn 9? It's not exactly the overtaking point I would choose in a race, but we have seen people do it before, around the inside, around the outside. Sven de Vries has to fall in, though, and try and use the slipstream to escape the clutches of Matt Richards once again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that Matt's actually been able to keep up with the slot as Matt Richards. That, you know, obviously the jump up on the start, but he's keeping with them. You know, he's keeping that pace up to match these guys. Also, Bart DeVos off in P14, I believe. Yep, he's down to P16. He's just gone off down at turn 11 on the outside, but has got it back on and sorted. Trying to score some points for Welsh Automotive.
Dawi Tapper is back into P5 after getting past Kevin Siggy as well. That was around turn 4 as well, so Street Fighter's really enjoying overtaking in that first sector. Here comes Sven de Vries though, on the back of Ascari Cantonen. Once again, the lead between Cantonen and Pushka is 5 seconds on lap 6 of 33 here. Sven de Vries tries once again, but he just cannot get past that finish drive with a straight line speed. Oh, and what's that going on there?
Kevin Siggy.
Yeah, Kevin Siggy got close, but not close enough. Matt Richards starting to fall off the back of Sven de Vries now. I believe this pace midway into the race is going to start to show. Of course, remember that in Super Cup, like Super League, unless it's raining, these drivers have to use 2 different tyre compounds. You've got the red option compounds, which majority, if not all of the field, are using at this current pointers. Oh, Sven de Vries looking around the outside of the hairpin. Oh, he's still in the bush. He's still in the bush. Oh, wow, he's still on the inside, and he could get this into turn 9 if he's able to stay there. Oh, what a lovely move from Sven de Vries. A little bit of a wheel bang there, but can Cantonen come back now on the straight? So, Sven de Vries going ultra defensive here, and you can just see how dominant Cantonen is on the straights. As all Sven de Vries is going to try and hold on. Oh, they're side by side going into this left section. This right section, and Cantonen's still ahead. Sven de Vries around the outside though. What a move that was. And he's still ahead, though he's got 2 straights to try and traverse now without Cantonen sweeping into the back of him. And look at this, Sven de Vries, ultra defensive. Once you can see the dust is kicking up from going onto that line. Into the... Oh, Cantonen around the outside. Oh, Cantonen goes wide. Cantonen goes wide, and Matt Richards is onto the podium with TSA in only his 2nd round. And this is extraordinary stuff. Cantonen's going to have to work hard now to try and get back to Sven de Vries.
Matt Richards going for 2nd.
Matt Richards is going for 2nd. This is unbelievable stuff here at the front. Oh, that was exciting. And Matt Richards has tried it, but Sven de Vries, he's an experienced defender. He had to be to try and hold off Ascari Cantonen. But look at Matt Richards. This is where he got such a good start. Can he take him around the outside of turn 4? Oh, he tries his hardest, but he can't do it. And Ascari Cantonen is now right on the back of the Welshman as well. This is a brilliant battle from P2 to P4.
Yeah, also James Johnson did the fast lap of the race on that one. Just a quick shout out to James Johnson. A 36.584, I believe it was. Fastest lap. Thought that's really important. Just thought I'd point that one out.
Well, it is. Shows he's fast.
Yeah, but currently running down in P8. Is he going to be able to work his way back from there?
Always the reverse grid.
Is going to have to go. I think Matt Richards is going to have to go defensive on Ascari Cantonen at the moment. I reckon these two are both running about the same top speed, so that's interesting. Oh, Ascari Cantonen going to the back of Richards there,
and just shows how much better set up that car is for the Adonis. You know, the TSA is doing fantastically well to stay this high, but ultimately that Adonis engineering car is much better. But I tell you what, Matt Richards is essentially doing. He's acting as Sven de Vries' buddy on this one. And
indeed.
Sven de Vries is really starting to pull out a nice gap here. Though that said, it's not that Cantonen won't have a bad top line speed at the end of this straight here. He's going to have a prime slipstream here from Matt Richards. And Kevin Siggy as well is close behind. He actually re-overtook Dawi Tapples. We have a lag in FA there. I'm not sure which one it is. It's probably Parker, I'd imagine. Yeah. But here comes Cantonen, and he's into P3 once again. There's a bit of wheel banging again, actually, and Matt Richards is going to have to keep his eyes and ears about him, because there's Kevin Siggy has really lost it out of turn 2 there, and Kevin Siggy's right on the back of Matt Richards now. Can Kevin Siggy take him into turn 4? No, he can't, interestingly.
Matt is locking up a lot, though. Like a lot. Probably.
Siggy! Oh, no! Oh, Kevin.
I noticed the 2-foot save there. Both accelerator and brake, trying to keep the car roughly going forwards and controlled out of the barrier. He did indeed. However, has dropped down into P11 behind Alex Cooper, who had a mistake early on, I believe. Now that's just reminded me of someone to go and have a look as to their whereabouts. Emmanuel Gaxella, P21. Having a look at the back of Greg and Veloy. Just thought I'd go see where he's hanging about.
It's a nice little scrap, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got Yakinen, Veloy, Rachel having a nice time. And that's a nice move from Gaxella as well.
T9 getting his way through.
But it's not a top 20 reverse grid, Mr. Gaxella. You're going to have to gain another 10 places. And I'll tell you how far off 10th place he is at present moment. So it's about 11 seconds or so. That's a long way to go before he even gets to those heights.
Oh, also, Jason Muscat and James Johnson have just gone wheel to wheel. James Johnson is through and up into P6, but obviously
that's nice.
We've been told that these Dennises have got much higher top speed, so I reckon he'll get him back down before turn 1.
And you can see this. I mean, what a lovely top speed. He wasn't even in the slipstream for that long, was Jason Muscat. He's alongside James Johnson. James Johnson tries to scare him off the road, but for a driver of Jason Muscat's experience, that's not going to bother him too much, and he takes P6 with ease once again.
Yeah, I've just seen that Philip Cullen has just gotten by Ari Nieminen in P13 and P14 as well.
That's not a bad job for Ari, actually, considering that there was a no-score last time out in Malaysia for Mir Zurich. And he's going to look on the inside. No, he's not going to look on the inside of Philip Cullen. But, any points for Mir Zurich and those teams which aren't really expecting any points from a race are good points, surely.
Yeah, all points, good points, but yeah, they didn't have the best time in Malaysia. Obviously, in Australia, in the crazy first time we had the sprint race, they got P9 and 10 or 8 and 9, something like that. I think it was 8 and 9. They got in the sprint race, and then in Malaysia they didn't get any points. I think Ari might have actually scored a couple, but I don't remember. But now, here. He's doing a good job to keep that in 14th at the moment, but just as a reminder to where he was last season in Formula Challenge, I think after the 3rd round he was leading the championship, so to say that he's currently running in 14th position shows that Ari maybe not quite getting back up to pace yet.
Ari was, the best way I can describe it is, go back to the action, James Johnson, Tom Parker got a really good final corner, and James Johnson got a really good final corner.
P2.
And Matt Richards is going to have a goal on Ascari Canton, and I didn't realise he was that close. Let's keep an eye on Matt Richards. Nope, he's not going to be able to take him. What about James Johnson and Tom Parker? They're side by side going into turn 1, and Tom Parker has it. What a lovely move there from the Englishman. He has passed James Johnson on his debut in Supercup for this year. Dawi Tapadero ahead of them, looking on the outside of Jason Muscat. Is he going to take him around the outside? Would be a lovely move, and the Dutchman is staying with Muscat. Going into Sector 2 now. No, Muscat nicely defended, and Dawi Tap will have to find another way around the Maltese to get back up into P5. But as I was saying, Ari Neiman was in a way an earlier version of Tom Jacobs later in the season. We saw Tom Jacobs really up near the front and battling for wins and podiums and everything, and then near the end of the season he just dropped off massively, and Ari Neiman was a similar thing. We saw him right up near the front battling for podiums, and then whether it was because of poor setup choices or because of more faster drivers coming into the championship, just sort of dropped off and was in no man's land really, just scoring points here and there.
Yeah. It can sometimes just happen throughout a season, a lack of motivation towards it. You kind of get 7 to 8 rounds into a championship, and Matt Richards getting on the inside. Yep, Ascari Cantonen's passed Ascari Cantonen. That was a mistake from Cantonen to the final turn, went a bit too deep, and Matt Richards has gotten through. But look at Mr. Cantonen. He's got that top line speed, and he's going to say, thank you very much, Matt, but K-Baj bye. And Matt Richards, that was a tank slapper, wasn't it, out of turn 1? Good catch, though. And it was a good catch, but he's now going to have Jason Muscat, Ascari's teammate, on the back of him now. And he's going to look, he's having a little peek into turn 4. He knows he can't really do much from there. But I imagine Jason will be hounding the back of Matt to try and give Cantonen as good a chance to catch back up to Sven de Vries, who has managed to pull out on Ascari about a 2.4 second gap. Yeah, but Richards' pace actually in the race has been pretty good. I think he's running a couple of tenths off his quali time at the moment. I know he's been practicing on race fuel for quite a lot of this pre-race practice that he's been doing. So he's knowing how the car's feeling in the race, and knowing where he's going strategy-wise and what he has to do with the tyres. So he could be in for a good shout of keeping that position. Jason Muscat! Jason Muscat, what happened? He just did a massive dive bomb on Richards. God, I had a heart attack then. Jeez. I'm tempted to say what type of classic it is, but I think I'll get a bit bashed again in a certain video. Dawi Tapper there in P6 has fallen off a little bit behind Jason Muscat actually, and Tom Parker has gone past James Johnson. I did see that Alex Cooper had got past James Johnson again, to be honest, but for some reason James Johnson was able to hold on
near the end of Sector 2, and Alex Cooper's going to have to fall in behind. Again, the gap at the front, we should say, is 6.8 seconds, so Pushka really enjoying this free air, as is Sven de Vries. Ascari Canton stays easily in P3, though Matt Richards is staying with him, as is Jason Muscat. Dawi Tapper then leads this second group almost of on Parker, with James Johnson there, Alex Cooper there, Manu Klont there, and Kevin Siggy, who's able to stay in reach of the top 10. Alex Cooper looking on the inside of James Johnson into turn 4, though can't do anything, and Manu Klont's going to try around the outside, goes very wide and has to pull back in, which will lose him a lot of time, I'd imagine, actually, after going that wide. But we've got a really nice couple of trains here, and all for very good points as well.
Yep, we do indeed. We are only a third of the way through this race, so
Lovely.
Supercup once again deliver.
It's like a very good postman.
It is. Apparently, Ferreira has been into the pit lane. He is indeed as he exits.
Muscat. He's done the same thing as last time, but this time he was successful. Muscat into P4. Though oh my words, that was robust defending from Muscat. I'll call it that. But he's into P4. Let's see whether Matt Richards can retaliate, because that was quite a brash overtake from Jason Muscat. It must be said, trying to show his authority in this Super Cup field from Matt Richards, who's relatively new, of course, in this Super Cup field. Onto the back straight we go now. We can see up ahead of us the back marker.
Oh, Tom Parker pits.
Tom Parker pits. So that's our first pitter on the option tyres. We will see whether that benefits him. Here goes... Oh, and Matt Richards is actually past Jason Muscat. Oh, Muscat is going to dive into turn 1. And I think he just about holds it. Look at Dawi Tapper there trying to get in on the action as well. He's going
to have a run for turn 4.
Oh, he is. And he's got a nice run, hasn't he? He has to switch out to the outside. And Andreas Waters there is going to try and cause... Oh, no, he's not going to cause some complications. Lovely. Dawi Tapper around the outside of turn 4 for Matt Richards. What a lovely move. Matt Richards is going to try his best to hold with him. But he's now out of the top 5. And it is all kicking off at the end of these guys' option stints. Oh, Matt Richards to the inside! Oh, that was dynamic, but Dawi Tapper well aware to it, and I think he should just be able to hold him to P5 now. Look at James Johnson and Alex Cooper, though, in the background as well. It's all kicking off at the end of the option stints.
Yeah, it is indeed. Obviously, some tyres go off for some people, others it won't. You know,
look at this train!
Keeps together. It is indeed one hell of a train back there.
You can say P4 to P10, all in the same window.
Indeed. That lead is not coming down. That's something interesting to point out. It is going up still. So Philip Pushka still trying to pull himself out even further to take his first win. To remind everyone, his first win of the 2014 UltraNet Supercup Championship.
Let's just say Tom Parker has come out in P20 and behind Steve Verloy and Nico Jkonik, so he's going to have massive traffic. Sven de Vries stays out as well as Philip Pushka. Hantonen stays out. Muscat stays out. Tapper stays out.
Yeah, everyone stays out.
This entire train, all the way down to P10, is staying out, and I can't see many people coming into picture behind him staying out. Here goes Matt Richards on Dawi Tapper, though. Or rather, Dawi Tapper trying to defend off Matt Richards, and Matt Richards has him back into the top 5. And Dawi Tapper, I said he should have looked safe, and he's not looking safe now, is he? Because look at James Johnson and Alex Cooper behind him, battling as if their lives depended on it. James Johnson just about holding on to P7, and Manu Klont there trying to get on the action as well, P8. And now, P9.
Just really quickly, important stuff about these positions. P6, 10, you reverse grid for the second race. They are all fighting for the best chance of that reverse grid position. So these lot are all trying to stick very, very close to each other so they can get, hopefully, reversed into the top lot. And it's going to be tight between these lot all the way until the end of the race. I feel James Johnson getting a bit of a slide coming out of turn 10.
I would say, obviously, the best position to be is that P6, isn't it?
Yes,
guaranteed of being reversed.
Yep, indeed it is. And the current man holding that spot is Dawi Tapper, holding off his teammate, James Johnson.
This should be interesting as well, actually. Can you, as a Street Fighter front row, that'd be good.
Indeed. Philip Pushka does not enter the pit lane, so we're not in the pit window now. I have noticed that the gap for Sven de Vries to Philip Pushka hasn't gone up this lap. It's come down the tiniest amount as they cross the line. It's basically staying around 7.2 seconds. So maybe that's a theme we're going to keep with now.
Look at Jason Muscat.
Yeah, close it right up to the back of Oscar Cantonen.
Since he got rid of Matt Richards, he has been flying. And oh, is that Canton letting him through? I think that was. I think that was. That was not a lock-up from Ascari Canton. Let me check here. Unless he went really wide of his own accord and we didn't see a lock-up, I think that was Muscat letting him past. Oh, sorry, that was Canton letting him past.
Yeah, well, maybe it might be advantageous to him if Muscat can go up and fight Sven de Vries. Obviously, these two, they're usually pretty close. They're playing the team game at the moment. They are going for the team's championship and working together with each other. And if there is any chance that Muscat can fight his way further towards Sven de Vries, noting the fact that it would also disadvantage Sven de Vries points-wise, who is Oscari Cantonen's main rival in the championship at the moment, then Oscari is going to take that deal, especially if it is with his teammate.
Hey, let's look at this battle between P6 to P10. It is fantastic to see 5 cars flying through Sector 2 so close to each other. And Matt Richards isn't exactly escaping this battle. We were saying he wasn't escaping the top 3. Now he's got a completely different battle on his hands. And I tell you what, if he makes a mistake here, he's going to lose a lot more than just falling out of the podium positions.
Yeah, he's just got to keep it together and not let the position get to him. I've seen him battle around some higher positions and things, so he doesn't let the position get to him, but Dario Tapper is trying to force his way past.
Let's see if any of these guys pits. The top 4 ahead of them.
Yeah, Siggy.
There is Kevin Siggy. He's pulling the trigger.
Dario Tapper.
Here comes Dario Tapper on Matt Richards. Oh, he had to put him to the slipstream once again. He's going to try to the outside now, is the Dutchman. But Matt Richards defends really nicely, clips the apex, and he's got to watch out for James Johnson. He's Sneaky Squirrel going to try and make his way through. And look at this. These 5 drivers are all within 1.5 seconds of each other. Tiny, tiny gaps. And one mistake could see them lose. Well, let's put it like this. If Matt Richards makes a mistake now, he will lose, 5 points? Which, in the lower reach of the table, is a huge, huge thing. And contact between Cooper and Johnson. Oh, and Johnson's pushed wide. And Menno Klont goes through into P8, and that was all. It's getting a bit raggedy, isn't it?
Yep. Also, just a quick update on pit lane.
Is that Tapper round? Tapper's round.
Yeah.
Oh, Tapper lost on the inside.
And Cooper trying to get past Matt Richards for P5.
Oh, it's all kicking off now, isn't it? So Cooper up to P6, Menno Klont P7, and the 2 street fighters have been shuffled down to P8 and 9. And Dario Tapper's race goes from absolutely elation to a disappointment once again. Cooper, look at him, he's right on the back of Matt Richards, isn't he? Desperate to try and get more points. And
just as a really quick point, they might be pitting in this lap, all of them.
Philip Pushka goes round again.
Interesting.
Sven de Vries, let's have a look at him now. Sven de Vries, okay, Sven de Vries pits. Now is the time.
Menno Klont on the outside trying to get past Cooper, but doesn't get it quite done.
The 2 Adonis's don't come in again.
Out. Interesting.
And they're all staying out. Okay, in interest, where Kevin Siggy is. Kevin Siggy has come out about not even that, probably 9/10 ahead of Parker.
Klont, way past Parker. James Johnson!
Oh my God!
Menno Klont!
Jesus.
That was, I have done that. That curb is slippy. Really slippery.
A lot of curbs around this circuit, they just suck you in, don't they? It's almost like a vortex, and once you're in, you can't stop. And Menno Klont, contact between himself and Cooper! And Cooper gets past. Dario Tapper's going to take advantage of that as well. This is... It is as if they're fighting for their lives. It's cutthroat. One mistake, one little gap which someone can go for, and they will take it with force. And Alex Cooper, lucky to stay in P5. James Johnson to P8. Dario Tapper, we thought he'd missed out massively after that mistake in turn 9 last lap. He's back up to P6 already.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how quickly it can come back to you when you're all fighting so close together and losing each other time. I think the person who's actually going to be advantaged from this most is actually Kevin Siggy, who pitted earlier on, went onto the prime compound tyre, and is not part of this battle, so he can lap as comfortably as he wants. However, Alex Cooper, wow, straight past Matt Richards before they even got onto this straight.
He was looking strong around that part of the circuit in comparison to Richards, and he's got moved on the Welsh. But look at Matt Richards. I'm not sure whether he's planning on pitting this lap, but I do wonder whether we're going to see these 4 or 5 drivers all pitting at the same time. Pushka, Cantonen... Oh, no, Pushka pits. Pushka's pitted. And who else is out in the pits? Richards pits. Everyone else goes round again, though. And it's going to be interesting where Pushka comes out in relation to Sven de Vries, of course, who's coming round the final corner now. Where is Pushka? Pushka is coming out of the pits, and that is a really, really nice gap that Pushka has on Sven de Vries. He might have extended it even.
Trying to get past Tapper for P4.
Yep. And it's going to be into turn 4 as well. Nothing doing though. So Cooper stays P3, Tap P4, Klomp P5, Johnson P6. And Philip Pushka, by the way, has come out in P8. And, wow, he's got 2 cars between himself and Sven de Vries. Jason Muscat and Askari Kansanen lead, though. And I wonder when these Adonis guys are going to pit, because they're not exactly, from what we've seen in previous rounds, the best on tyre wear. But surely, I mean, we've seen them pit side by side. Oh, no, in one race in Australia, we saw them pit one after the other. They did a double stop. That gap is not big enough for a double stop.
No, but they know how to do the side by side and the pit lane stuff. So I think if it came to it, they could both get away with doing it. What I'm surprised with most is that we've passed halfway and they're still on the options. That's why I was saying earlier they were going to pit now, because it just seemed like the logical thing to do. We weren't halfway yet, so maybe pit onto the other tyres.
Cooper's gone wide. Cooper's gone wide. He's gone wide into the third to final corner. Oh, penultimate corner.
13.
But he's able to stay. Muscat pits. Yeah. And Kansanen pits. They are going to try the side-by-side.
Oh, let's have a little watch. See how it's done.
Cooper's in. Dawei Tapper goes round again, so Dawei Tapper will lead this race. Klont pits. And Johnson goes round again, so Street Fighter going for longer. Let's have a look at this. Adonis double pit stop in action. Lovely.
There we go. That's how you do it.
Lovely.
Sort of cheating the system, but shit, why not?
Squeaky bum time for the pit.
Indeed.
Personal goals do not mean anything here, and Jason Muscat has come out ahead of Sven de Vries, has he? Oh, he's going to be side by side. Jason Muscat's jumped Sven de Vries. This worked perfectly for Adonis Engineering. Perfectly. And Jason Muscat, he's going to have to get his tyres up to temperature pretty rapidly because Sven de Vries is right there with him. But theoretically, into P2, and I see James Johnson.
Sven de Vries gone for a massive dive on into forward. Did not pay off, and he's now slided across the track a little bit. Now that's going to give Jason Muscat enough time to get these tyres up to temperature and push himself further forward than Sven de Vries. Maybe Muscat can also pull de Vries back to Kansanen. And that was a good shout, McNaughton in P3 at the present moment in time, very, very close to the back of Dawei Tapper and James Johnson. We saw him impress a little bit, I remember, last time out. Unfortunately, the result did not come his way at the end of the race. But he did do a pretty good job though.
He did indeed. He's just been quietly going about his business, Adrian. He's not exactly the most exciting or fastest of drivers, but he gets you the points, and that is what you want him in your team for. And Storm, really, really lucky to have him. I'd say, let's see whether these guys now do pit, and whether Street Fighter even can do the double pit stop. No, they're not. So James Johnson, on his Super Cup debut this year, is going to lead the race now for at least one lap. Dawei Tapper and Adrian McNaughton come back in, which will allow Philip Pushka into P2. There's Ari Niemanen coming in as well. He's been out for a long time as well on the option tyres. He pits in again. But let's go now to Jason Muscat and Sven de Vries.
P11, really quickly. P11 is Tom Parker, who's just gone past. He is in the option tyres, though. I think he's got option at the moment, as I think that's Jack Zeller, who's just come into the pits. And Matt Richards, I think, has dropped off quite a bit. He's made a mistake on his outlap because he's down in P15 and he's a long way off the battle where we thought he would be. That's Parker having a little bit of a contact with Dawei Tapper, who's back with us lot now.
I say Parker's actually done a very good job. But I mean, look, still, you got this huge
Maurice Bracken DNF.
Yeah, actually, no, that's a really good point. Let's read out the retirement. So we got Maurice Bracken out, Andreas Waters with suspension, Florian Geyer, of course, after that massive crash on the opening laps, and Christoph Lichtenstein. So bad times for those 4 drivers. But here comes, going back to P2, Sven de Vries is all over Jason Muscat, like de Vries was all over Kansanen in the first stint of this race. But once again, Jason Muscat defending nicely, and he's got the straight line speed to defend as well.
Oh, James Johnson, where's he gone?
He's not pitted, has he? Oh,
he's hit the wall.
Wing. He's
hit the wall.
Wing. Let me have a look at this. Okay, so he's in. Oh, wow, he lost it where Menno Klomp lost it in qualifying. He just clipped the inside of the left-right hander before you exit Sector 2, enter Sector 3, and that is a good result out the window. A real shame, as he was looking for a strong top 10.
Yeah, that is a shame there for James Johnson, who's going to have to work his way back to the pit lane with no front ring and probably a hefty amount of suspension damage. which is going to be just very, very awkward post-stop.
Is Bart DeVos going to beam into the pit lane? Look at this. Oh, my word, James Johnson. Oh, my word, stop,
He's
mate.
probably sped in the pit lane. He's probably sped in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's going to be a stop-go, isn't it? So
yeah,
Bart DeVos was quite lucky there. Was smart and kept his eyes open, checked where he was going. So he's safely into the pits. But that means that we now have... out of interest, has McNaughton has pitted, hasn't he?
McNaughton has pitted.
So, Matt Richards has lost out hugely there.
Yeah,
absolutely hugely. Let's actually go down your top 15 while we have everyone resorted on lap 21 to 33 here. Philip Pushka. So James Johnson confirmed to have a drive-through. It's Philip Pushka leading from Jason Muscat, ahead of Sven de Vries, Ascari Cantonen, Tom Parker, Alex Cooper on the inside of Menno Klont. Alex Cooper in P6. Menno Klont P7. No, he's going to go back through for P6. Great battling here, still in the midfield. Kevin Siggy back up into P8. That's a good position for him. Dowie Tapper P9. And Adrian McNaughton is P10 after quietly working his way through the field. Matt Richards is P11, Philip Cullen P12, Ari Neiman P13, Mike Bell up to P14. He's done a good job there, though. Still on the options. He has to pit him.
He has to pit, yes.
And Bart DeVos then will be P14 with Emmanuel Gaxella. If he's able to keep it going, he should be into the points. Or into the point, I should say.
Just a quick update. Alex Cooper got past Menno Klont again, but Menno Klont defending absolutely brilliantly. Round 10 to get it really onto the curb and giving himself really not that much room to play with. However, moved himself up into P6 briefly, but Cooper got it back the turn after. So Cooper currently the one running in 6th position in front of Menno Klont.
P2, Jason Muscat and Sven de Vries going close once again. Nothing doing for Sven de Vries into turn 1, though, for this group in the midfield. Menno Klont's going to look around the outside of Alex Cooper, Patrick Gatewood. Say nicely free. Klont trying to go around the outside, but he's gone wide, and that's going to allow Kevin Siggy through. And Kevin Siggy's back into P7. Dowie Tapper's going to want a piece of the action as well. And he's going to try around the outside, imagine, of turn 4 here to reclaim P8 from Menno Klont, his compatriot. And Menno Klont really taking that corner poorly, but he just planted on the apex. Fair game, and he's going to keep in P8 for now.
Indeed. I've also noticed that for some reason the backlight of Dowie Tapper is on for me. Reasons as to why, no idea. But
hashtag YOLO.
Hashtag why not? We just wanted his lights on. Sure. I also see that Menno Klont was locking up a bit. Dowie Tapper taking a bit too much speed as well into turn 10, but keeping it together. Sven de Vries and Jason Muscat for an update on battle for P2. Although close, I don't think Sven de Vries can get past. 1,000th was the change between Jason Muscat and Philip Pushka in the second sector. So maybe Jason Muscat pushing his way back towards Pushka, but there's not much time left in this race, albeit the line should be 11 laps to go.
Well, it took a third of the race for Pushka to pull out a decent gap, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's, let's see what the lap is as they... So it's holding at 8.2, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, with Pushka on fresher tyres, maybe his pace isn't as good. I'm not too sure, but we'll have to keep an eye on that battle for sure. Meanwhile, back into the exciting mid-top 10 battle, which of course, remember, is going to be for ultimately reverse grid stuff. I mean, contact between Cooper and Siggy, and I think Siggy...
Cooper way off, yeah.
Well, actually, no, I think that's the best way of doing it, isn't it? Because Cooper cut the corner and he's retained position. Siggy slowed down accordingly.
Oh, behind. Dowie Tapper at Menno Klont.
And Dowie Tapper's on the inside this time. He's trying to push Klont out. He's tried to do a button on Perez. And contact between the two. And Klont's still trying to hold on around the outside. That
was brave.
Drastic defending measures from Menno Klont there. And he's still contact between the two. Settle down, people. Otherwise, you're going to have Adrian McNaughton taking your positions.
Bit too much contact there, especially when we're considering we're driving around an open wheel. This ain't touring cars. Although sometimes I get the feeling that these drivers do tend to forget that.
Interesting line that Alex Cooper's taking, an interesting line that Kevin Siggy's taking. I don't know whether they're trying to do acrobatic displays or something, but perhaps just trying to defend off the guys behind them. Alex Cooper actually pulling out a nice gap on Siggy, as Siggy is pulling out a nice gap on Klont, who is now sucked into this battle with Tapper and McNaughton for 8th, 9th and 10th. Matt Richards is now a long, long way behind, and I fear that he may be out of contention for a reverse grid pole. Though, he might have a bit of Tom Jacobs luck sprinkled on him. It certainly worked for him last race. Tom Jacobs I'm talking about.
Indeed, indeed. I'm just trying to find out if there is a magical way for me to find out what tyres Tom Parker started the race on, because he's currently running the options. He has done a pit stop. He was the first of the lot to pit, and I believe he started on the options. So unless this is the glitch that we've seen with Alex Cooper in the first race of the season, as Menno Clont tried to get past Darry Tapper once again. But unless it's that glitch again that we saw with Alex Cooper in the first round, where it looked like he was running the options twice. Parker may need to pit again.
With all due, I mean, I'm looking at his pace right now. So his pace on the opening stint, which was definitely on option tyres, I know that much. 137.1, 137.6, 131, 137.1, 137.1, all around the low 37s. His pace on these tyres, remember he put it on lap 11, so he had 137.8, 136.8, 137.0, 136.9.
Oh, Menno Clont passed Darry Tapper as Darry Tapper makes a mistake into 10 once again, and he's going to drop down to P10 as well, as Adrian McNaughton is trying to force his way up the inside. But yeah, that's interesting stuff with Tom Parker.
Yeah, so I imagine it's possible he could have started on the prime tyre and we just didn't see. I mean, I'm convinced he did.
I'm convinced he did. I'm convinced he was on the options on the start. So I am pretty convinced that FA needs to pit again.
We'll find out, won't we? At the moment, though, Darry Tapper trying to get past Adrian McNaughton once again for P9 and P10. Given that he doesn't mess up this corner too badly, he's going to have a nice run onto the home straight, and he's tucked up nicely in the slipstream of McNaughton. This is for P9, 7 points, and the lower reaches of the top 10 reverse grid numbers. He's going to pull out and have a go into turn 1, I'd imagine. McNaughton to defend around the outside. That was nicely taken by Tapper, much cleaner, and P9 is his for the moment.
Yeah, for the moment, though, we've seen these lot chop and change all the way through this first feature race of the evening. Obviously, with the sprint one coming up soon. I believe the sprint one's going to be 18 laps again, if I remember correctly.
Oh, look at Muscat. Look at Muscat and De Vries here. De Vries is on the inside, and De Vries is through on P2, and Jason Muscat, his straight line speed couldn't save him in the end, but it might be able to save him here now that De Vries is back past. A good slipstream will do him good, but of course these two battling is going to allow Philip Pushka to extend his lead. Oh, Muscat around the outside! What a lovely move in turn 10 there. And that just shows that even with the lower wings, Muscat can still strut his stuff for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up...
Oh, my word!
Wow. Nearly back up the inside, but nope. You say, Philip Pushka, this is helping him pull out his gap. I don't think there's anything these two can do to stop that guy from winning at the moment.
And we said that we weren't going to bet on him because he's never done it before.
I was not betting on him with the hope that he would do it. Yeah, that's my strategy. Cheers. Thanks. No problem, Philip. We're all good.
We're all good. The gap is actually 8.6, so it just shows how much these two battling is extending it. Of course, Philip Pushka will still have to deal with a reverse grid, and we are yet to see whether he can do what every race winner before him has done so far this season and get the double.
Yeah.
But right now, the worry is about...
Darry Tapper P9, P10, getting past Adrian McNaughton. Obviously, dropping the position a bit earlier on with a mistake. Darry Tapper back into 9th position.
I'm tempted to keep our eye on P2 and P3 here, though, because Sven de Vries this is his best sector. Look at him, right out to the ragged edges of the track. He's going to try around the outside here of turn 8. And he's sort of got a nose in, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything to turn 9. No, he isn't. Oh, is he?
Wow, that dive bomb.
Oh, wow. Jason Muscat attempting to hold him on the outside. What a lovely defensive move that was from Jason Muscat.
The problem is that with Sven de Vries, he's going to try a dive bomb here, but it's not going to work. Is that Sven de Vries, because he has higher wings, he has to go for the outside line at 9 and 10, because that would give him the best drive down that back straight and hopefully force his way through. But really, I don't think there's that much Sven can do at this point in the race. He needs to make his move on the last lap and needs to make it stick, because any time earlier than that, and Muscat will just get through again. So, he's got to time it right. And forcing the issue now is probably not the best idea.
Yeah, I imagine so. Let's keep an eye on what happens down the back straight here, because we've seen the Adonis guys have brilliant top speed. And look at Canton there in the background, really starting to fall away from this battle. He's just not able to keep up with them. And Tom Parker there, of course, in 5th. He may have to pit again. Sven de Vries has a little peek out, but ultimately his straight line speed is not going to win him any battles here. Though, even around turns 1 and 2 there, you can see that his car's just much better planted, much more stable, and really it's going to be in Sector 2, if anywhere, that he's going to overtake Muscat, though he's going to have to do it at a time when Muscat's tyre temperatures are too high, or, you know, whether Jason Muscat has better or worse tyre wear, that's going to be a factor. Ultimately, it's going to be a real test of the current championship leader to get past this Maltese driver.
Yeah, it's weird when you think about the current championship leader. He started like P5, P6, P7, something like that. Did Sven de Vries and has fought his way back up once again into a podium position. We've seen this a couple of times with Sven de Vries. He always seems to have something else to show in the race, and I'm sure that I'm sure he's planning his move at the moment as to when he can do it. He's a thinking driver, and we'll probably get it sorted out. And
that dive bomb 3 laps ago wasn't exactly thinking, was it?
No, but now that he's sitting behind him, now it's all calmed down, and it's not all about let's make a move every 15 seconds. It's let's think here how I can surprise this guy. Saw Ascari, yes, off in the background,
and he's going to be under serious pressure from Tom Parker. How good is the top speed on that FA? Do we know? Oh, he doesn't care. Oh my words!
That's not thinking driving, right?
That's not thinking driving. No, that's case in point, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, what we've got to remember is that Tom Parker may have to pit again. Sven de Vries looking around the outside of Jason Muscat, nothing doing. Let's have a look at Tom Parker here, and he's going to try again, isn't he? He's almost threading that nose through Ascari's rear wing, and Ascari hopefully will sail back into the rim and keep it under control now. Things have really settled down here in the top 10, though things are still kicking off between Dowie Tapper and Adrian McNaughton, and of course Jason Muscat and Sven de Vries. And Manuel Gagzella actually into 14th now. Mark de Vos has had an off somewhere, and Martin O'Connor, of all the people on this Super Cup grid, which I would have thought would have been the points. Martin O'Connor, no offence to you, mate, but I wasn't expecting to be there, but he's on the option tyre. And I wonder whether he started on the primes. I can't remember a single driver starting on the primes. But there he is, nonetheless.
I also saw, just a little bit further down, Terence Grech getting past Steve Villay. Grech's gone wide, though. But I think Grech was one of the people who's standing in this round.
He is, yes, for Dan Rusu.
For Dan Rusu, so good shout for him to be up in the top 20 at this present moment in time.
Also, up there on retirements, Mikko Jakinen out for Scuderia Vasilia. Which is a shame again. I mean, Scuderia Vasilia, from such highs of last year, they're now not even in the top 10 of this year. I mean, really struggling. Oh, but sorry, looking at Sven de Vries.
Yeah, I was going to say Sven's got a good run.
Look at them. They're going so close. Is that Parker pitting? That is Parker pitting. He is going option prime. Looking at de Vries, he's going to try around the outside of Muscat. Muscat plants it perfectly on the apex. He's not letting him pass. But yeah, Tom Parker did have to pit again onto the prime tyres, and he is now on the prime tyres. So that allows Alex Cooper up into P5, Kevin Siggy up into P6, Clont up into P7, Tapper into P8.
Oh, Sven de Vries on the outside of Jason Muscat for P2.
Oh, he's taken him around the outside of turn 4, hasn't he?
Yep, he has indeed.
Oh,
Jason Muscat's still on the inside.
Oh. And I imagine that it's going to stay like this until the end of Sector 2, but this isn't where Muscat lives. Muscat lives on the straights like his teammate, and we're going to have to see how good an exit off turn 9 and the final turn, of course, Muscat gets to be able to retake that second position.
Yeah, but either way, that was a very nice move from Sven de Vries to the outside of 4, and to actually keep it on the track and not try and cut the corner at 6 was a good job from Sven de Vries. But I do fear that he's going to lose his position. Jason Muscat trying to do the dive bomb. That's actually going to push him quite far back. So Jason Muscat's going to have to be patient with this move for it to pay off properly. But I think it's 5 laps to go. Oh, I think I saw a position change.
That was Gagzella. And I'll tell you why it was Gagzella. He is right in the mix of... Oh, who's that round? That is Nico DeConnick round, not Sven de Vries. He's right in the mix. He was right in the mix of this battle with Tom Parker and Philip Cullen, but he must have made a mistake somewhere because he's fallen right back.
Yep, I see Jason Muscat's right. Is going to be on the rear wing and probably try a dive bomb into turn 1. He's going to go on the outside as Sven de Vries massively defensive.
Jason Muscade's going to have to go fully around the outside, isn't he? Oh, he's side by side, and he's got the inside to turn 2. Lovely move from Jason Muscat, and it's just that Adonis's top end speed, isn't it? Saving him from falling well behind us, Sven de Vries. But here's where Sven de Vries took Jason Muscat last time. And nothing doing, surprisingly. Much better defended by Jason. And he will retain P2 for the moment. It's lap 30 of 33. We're almost near the end now.
Yep, only 4 to go. Whereas Sven de Vries is going to go on the outside. Is he going to get it done again? He's going to be on the inside for 9 and 10. This is something that we've seen him do quite a few times, and Jason Muscat gets him down the straight down to 11. But can Sven de Vries pull it off this time?
Oh, turn 9. Oh,
that's it.
Yes,
ahead, exactly.
But Muscat has a better straight line speed, and we've seen him overtake people into turn 10 before, either by dive bomb or around the outside, like he's trying to do now.
Oh, Jason Muscat's off.
He's gone wide. He's gone wide. Yes, he has.
Yep.
And yeah, he's gonna have to work hard, Jason, to be able to catch up to Sven de Vries again, because Sven is in nice clean air ahead of him. So we'll have to see whether Jason's top line speed can save him now.
Yeah, Sven, we've just got a bit more ballsy on the brakes. See Alex Cooper and Oskar Kantonen changing positions.
Yeah.
Oskar Kantonen, however, with the straight line speed, getting himself back up. But yeah, Sven de Vries, a bit more ballsy on the brakes there into 10, and it just pushed him a little bit further out wide. Then Jason Muscat couldn't keep on that outside where the better grip is
Jason.
And the better drive.
Look at Jason, he's straight past Sven de Vries on the straight into turn 1 once again. Oh, Jason isn't able to do what he's able to do last round! And he's going to be held behind Sven de Vries for the moment. It's lap 31 of 33 here. The gap to the front is almost 10 seconds. Filip Puška really enjoying leading this race now, and unless he makes a mistake in the next 2 laps or so, then he is easily secured his first win of the
Cooper dive
season.
bomb on Oskar Kantonen, and he's got on par. Oh, that's a big moment from Oskar Kantonen for P5, but keeps it together.
Nice move for Cooper. Watch out for Kevin Siggy there in the background as well in P6. He'll be looking for more points. Clontis P7, Tapper P8, who's lost McNaughton P9. Matt Richards into P10. He could very well still have a chance of getting reverse grid pole position. Aaron even at P11.
P11, jeez.
That's nice. And in the feature race as well. That's a really good job from Aaron.
Good shout.
Tom Parker, though, is going to be close behind and catching P12, the much faster driver is Parker. His teammate Philip Collins P13. Emmanuel Gaxella is into the points. He's getting 2. And of course, Martin O'Connor is still P15 with that option compound tyre. Now actually, this is going to be really interesting to note, because in Malaysia, O'Connor got a 30-second time penalty for not changing tyre.
Yeah, so
and
has he done the same thing?
I wonder whether he's doing the same thing again.
Either way, Jason Muscat going to close right up to the back of Sven de Vries again for the first turn.
There's only 2 more laps to do this.
2 laps to go. Yes, can he get it done? Who is going to be P2 at the end of this race? Is it going to be Sven de Vries? Is it going to be Jason Muscat? Or are these two going to come together? And is it going to be someone else completely random as Alex Cooper and Oskar Kantonen once again change positions? Jason Muscat's going to be on the outside for turn 4.
Oh, is he going to do it? Is he going to try around? Oh, it's going to be ever so close. But Sven de Vries holds on nicely, and Muscat's going to have to filter in once again through this tricky left-right-left section here in Sector 2. Heading up into the entrance to turn 9. Jason's going to have to really focus here to try and get a good exit. Though, surely, would it not be better to overtake Sven on the final lap where you could at least be ahead and defend properly?
Quite possibly, but again, thinking driver, and not thinking driver, depends on which way you want to go about it. Alex Cooper holding off Oskar Kantonen for P4. However, Oskar Kantonen with that straight line speed should probably get him to...
Muscat through! There's contact! Sorry, in turn 10!
Wow.
Muscat did his regular dive bomb move there. And, Sven de Vries has to filter in. This is the moment that Jason was waiting for.
Jason Muscat's wide.
Oh, that was so well held. It's so easy just to lose it and head off into Teletubby land off in the distance. But thankfully, Muscat's held it together. And he's going to be behind Sven de Vries. He surely shouldn't try it into the final corner. Here we go. Puška's on the final lap. And Oskar Kantonen and Cooper are still battling. Let's see what happens with Sven de Vries and Jason Muscat into turn 1 here on the final lap here at Sakir International Circuit feature race. Jason's going to be on the outside. Sven on the inside. Jason's ahead on the home straight here, and he's ahead fully into turn 1. He locks up massively, and he's on the inside still. Jason Muscat has the position for the moment, but this isn't where he should be. Sven de Vries, he's got such better downforce in Sector 2, and that's where he's going to find his margin around the outside of Turn 4. Once again, these drivers battling tooth and nail for 20 and 16 points. I mean, you may think that 4 points isn't a big thing. You've just got to look at how many championships which have been decided by less than 4 points at the end of the day. Sven de Vries heading into the entrance to Turn 9. Jason Muscat right behind him. He's going to have to do something absolutely spectacular to try and get past. And I imagine he will have to get past on the final turn to even have a chance of taking P2. This is where Jason Muscat's had a good load of luck here into Turn 10. He stays behind for the moment. I imagine he's going to try and fold in as close as he can to Sven de Vries to have the best exit. Look at that, he's almost straight lining the Turn 10 and Turn 11 corners here. On to the back straight now we go. Let's go to Pushka. He goes down the final turn, and Philip Pushka, he's had a couple of failures before in the Super Cup, but not anymore. Pole position, leading to a dominant win. He takes his first win of the season. Sven de Vries, though, he's ahead of Jason Muscat. Onto the final straight we go. And he's going so defensive, and I think he's just going to get it. Yes, he does. Sven de Vries takes second. Jason Muscat
Alex
third.
Cooper and Cantoner have just switched positions again. Cantoner
yes,
taking fourth.
Canton taking fourth. He limits his damage in return to Sven de Vries extending his championship lead. Cooper fifth. Kevin Siggy sixth. A good result finally for Optimum Sim Racing. No, not Optimum Sim Racing. Positive Sim Racing. Mano Klopp P7. Dali Tapper P8 after such a great qualifying. Adrian McNaughton ninth. Matt Richards in with a chance. A reverse grid pole. He's P10. Tom Parker 11. Harry Neiman a fantastic 12th, it must be said, for Mia Zurich. Philip Powell P13. Emmanuel Gagzella P14 after starting from last on the grid. A fantastic effort. And Bart de Vos is going to come home P15 ahead of Martin O'Connor, who we think may have another 30-second penalty for not adhering to simple tyre rules.
Well, sometimes, your keyboard doesn't work, or the button that you want to press doesn't quite work. I mean, we've all had it where we've been in the position where we wanted to change tyres and game says not. James Johnson, after what could have been a good result, is going to come home in 20th position, which is a shame considering what could have been for James Johnson. That was going to be a nice, strong top 10. Whereabouts in it, we don't know, but that lack of front wing that he had obviously cost him so dearly.
So that's plus 20 for De Vries, plus 13 for Ascari. Good shout out to Jason Muscat, actually, who had a really strong round. Was right with De Vries until the very end, and if it wasn't for De Vries' brilliant wing settings, then I think he would have possibly had him.
Indeed. But it was an interesting way to start the evening. I was tired before I came onto Super Cup this evening after some poor sleep, but now I'm bright and wide awake. What a good way to start the evening. And of course, the second very crazy Let's All Crash into Turn 1 race is coming up.
Right. Let me just set up my lovely reverse grid number generator. It's always exciting seeing which guy we're going to have, because I mean, let's look at the list here. So we've got Siggy, who you were touting potentially for pole position even, and who was a bit unlucky, to be honest, with this race anyway. Menno Clont, Dawei Tapper, who was on the front row last race anyway, Adrian McNaughton, and Matt Richards. And the funny thing is, as well, is that our reverse grids have either been the complete minimum or the complete maximum. I know we've only had 2 races, but it was either reverse grid of 6 in Australia and a reverse grid of 10. So I just wonder whether we're going to get something in the middle here.
It's going to be an 8.
An 8.
Are we going to be an 8?
Are we going to be an 8? Right. So here we go. The reverse grid number for race 2 is number 10. So, can you believe it? But Matt Richards is going to make it 2 reverse grid TSA poles in a row.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive. We'll see how well we can do. I mean, obviously, last time out, he had one hell of a start in race 1 from P15 to 4.
P4. And I think it was only because of the pit stops that he had a huge mistake or something.
Yeah, made a mistake on the outlap. Must have been somewhere on the outlap or the first couple of laps and dropped off a bit. So, yeah, I wonder if... obviously, this race, we're not expecting a pit stop. I'm expecting options from start to finish of the race.
It's 19 laps.
Yeah, and they were doing that in the race. I reckon they could do that in the race. So, I reckon will be options for everyone. No stop.
Or maybe primes for Parker. I mean, he had to 2-stop that race.
I think the second stint on the options may have been a mistake, though.
Right.
That's my opinion on that. Sometimes you enter the pit lane and it's just like, oh, damn, I'm on these tyres again. I think quite a lot of drivers in the Supercup field have done that mistake before. Speaking to a few of them who have. I think Mike Bell did it in Indianapolis last season, but lucked out because it rained. It's quite an easy thing to do to just simply forget to change tyres, because obviously fuel you can set before you come into the pit lane. As in fuel you can set from the garage, whereas tyres you have to set whilst you're on your way around. It's quite an easy thing to forget.
So just to show you how good that win was for Pushka, so Ascari Canton is now up to 90 points, and Pushka is up to 71. So that's brought him right back into championship contention.
Yeah, but championship contention is going to change all the way around at this part of the season. So, we're going to have some good fun for the rest of the championship. And as I said, third round in a row, third feature race in a row. Although Pushka did run away, I think Sven ran away with it obviously last time as well. But third round in a row, fifth race in a row, where Supercup has indeed delivered a track I absolutely detest.
Well, I'll tell you what, actually, that's the most dominant win we've seen from Supercup, full stop, this season. I think
so, yes, this season, of course, you not compare it to last season, and you had Pepe running away with the win by about, I think at times it was 20 to 30 seconds, so...
Just area for anybody who's not in on the nicknames.
Yeah.
But you know what, actually, for next race, I am going to say Pushka's going to do the double. Purely for the reason that he was that dominant.
Yeah. I will go with the same thing on that. Pushka will do the double. Who will fill out the rest of the podium? I've got no idea. I reckon Sender Vries will fill out one of the positions, but who will fill that other one? I reckon it's between the two Adonises, but which one I don't know.
No shout out to Gaxella, McNaughton, Tapper, Clont, or Siggy?
No.
Who of course are all reversed as well.
No.
Really?
I'm just going to be honest, right? The Adonises have the straight line speed. Sven de Vries is just cray on the overtakes. Pushka has been so dominant. So, if Pushka can pull it together, then I reckon he'll continue this trend that we've had so far of the double wins that we've had. I think it's going to be Pushka and then either Sven de Vries or an Adonis, the other Adonis somewhere, either P2 or P3, don't know.
I'm not so sure. I'm really not. No, I'm not convinced. I'm pretty sure that we're going to eat... I'm going to say Richards on the podium.
As much as I'd like to see that, those guys are quick.
But Richards was staying with them for the majority of the first stint.
Indeed.
And if he gets that sort of a start again, where he can just stream off from everybody else, you'll have fresh air ahead of him, not someone to battle.
I will say though, I'm fairly confident I'll get slapped on the wrist for saying that Matt is not going to be on the podium today.
It seems here that we might have had a retirement from the series in this very thing. Because Andreas Waters here saying that this will be my last race in Super Cup, guys. I just don't belong up here. Which is sad, really. I mean, obviously we have these... Well, we've said it many times before. This has been the closest Super Cup season I think we've ever seen in terms of competitiveness of the field. What was it? The top 6 were covered by 4/10, even though we saw Pushka take that extraordinarily good pole position. Well, what we thought was good. There are eventually 3 people less than a 10th away from him.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We're just having a look. It was all the way down from P1, which is Philip Pushka in qualifying, all the way down to Matt Richards
in P15,
who were within 1 second.
That's just insane.
That's how close this field is, but this field is so quick as well. Like, I mean, you may go, oh, they're all close. They might possibly be slow. No, these guys are so fast, so painfully fast.
It sort of gives you no hope that you'd ever move up into this category. I'm like, I'll take my Formula Challenge, thanks.
I will take Formula Challenge and commentate on this. It's much more interesting.
Yes, absolutely, and indeed in Super League for you.
Indeed, tomorrow with the iForward Super League, where me and Smithy on comms. That's going to be good.
It's going to be good fun, that. And actually, to be fair, do you know anything about the Super League for next round? I mean, any good or interesting reasons to see the race at all? I mean, we saw Heasterbeek take quite a nice win last time, and the CSGs are looking good as well. Do you think Ranieri might be able to get back in the action?
I'm going to say it's going to come down to who's got the better car and who's played the right upgrade game. Because if CSG and United played the same game that they were last time, then maybe not. But Giuseppe, he might be able to push his way forward. That is for tomorrow, which you can all tune in at the same time tomorrow about 7:30. Now, however, we have the reverse grid, the sprint race. It's been so crazy and so much fun. The previous 2 times we've done it, and let's try and make it 3 in a row for interest.
Even though we've had very similar podiums for both of the races.
Yeah, it's still been fun.
It's still been good fun, hasn't it? And hopefully, in the next 19 laps or so, we shall have an even better race than before. It'll certainly be an interesting race for Matt Richards, who makes it the second time in a row that a TSA lines up on pole position in a sprint race with the reverse grid. And if you ask me, Matt Richards is the faster driver between himself and Jacobs, and I don't think we'll see him plunge down the grid like we saw Jacobs out in Malaysia. Alongside him is Adrian McNaughton, who's doing a stand-up job for Storm in the face of stark facts that Gagzella simply is not doing as well as he should do in this series. Dawi Tapper starts P3, 1 place further down from where he started last time out. He'll need a better start than last time to even think of a good result. Kevin Siggy starts P4. Can he get a good result from this race after a little bit of a disappointment last race? Alex Cooper starts P5 with Ascari Canton P6, and then behind him is his teammate Jason Muscat. Sven de Vries is P8, Philip Pushka's P9, so we're missing someone. We are missing someone. Who.
Let's have a look.
Well, it was one of the top 10, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's check. Yeah, Menno Klont.
So Menno Klont missing from this grid. That's a real shame for him. For whatever reason, not here, and Multiforce is going to drop even more points for what has ultimately been quite a disappointing start to the season for them. Tom Parker's P10 for FA with Ari Neiman, P11 for Mir Zurich. Philip Cullen P12 for FA with Emmanuel Gaxella, P13 for Storm. Bart de Vos P14 for Waters with Martin O'Connor, P15 for Centurion. Tennis Gretsch P16 for Centurion with Stephen Valois, 17 for Waters. P18 is Thomas Jacobs for TSA with James Johnson, P19 for Street Fighter. Mike Bell starts P20 for Mir Zurich with Santiago Niza, P21 for Positive. Bruno Sousa Ferreira starts P22 for Basilia with Nico DeConic, P23 for Satellite. Patrick Gatewood starts P24 as the lone Multiforce car with Simrace TV, P25
shout
for
out to
GPVWC. Miko Yakin is actually P25 for Scuderia Basilia. Maurice Bracan is P26 for PV, with Andreas Waters P27 for Fox. Florian Gaia P28 for Simcraft, and Christoph Lichtenstein, our 2010 Supercup champion, rounds out the grid in P29, which is sad, but just shows how good the Supercup field has come on since 2010.
Oh yeah, obviously, big gains so far. Now, I want to see, can Matt Richards learn the start and do the same thing he did? I know he's been learning his starts and doing a similar method to what Oscar was doing last season, so that start preferably heading his way. Also, I see Christoph Lichtenstein on the Prime Compound tyre along with Simrace TV.
Lovely. Okay, let us have a looky then. Who will get a good start? Who will not? Who will take the win in the sprint race here at Bahrain? We've got 4, 5 lights, and here for the final time in Super Cup at Bahrain, we are away, and it's a decent start by Matt Richards. Oh, and contact between Tapper and Cooper there in the midfield. Look at Kevin Siggy. He's had a fantastic start on the inside there, but Matt Richards, lovely start. And
that was nearly...
Whoa. Who was that? That was Canton, and he's gone massively wide. And so, despite all that, Matt Richards, what a lovely start from him. He's off into the race lead. McNaughton second. Philip Pushka into P3. Lovely start from him. He's looking on the inside of P2. And, well, I'd say that's game over already. Philip Pushka up into P2. Alex Cooper around the outside of Adrian McNaughton. And McNaughton has been shoveled on the podium. Is that Sven de Vries going wide? That is Sven de Vries going massively wide. And he cuts a huge portion of the track. He's down in P7, I think it is. He's going to be overtaken by multiple people, I guess. But let's see, Jason Muscat's P5, Kevin Sickie, P6, Sven de Vries, there he is in P7. Tom Parker, P8. Oscar Katzen trying to go around the outside of Parker, though, into P8. Lovely move from the Finn. Parker down to P9 then. Emmanuel Gagzella up into P10 with Harry Niemann. Well, he's battling with Niemann for P10 and P11. This was the Formula Challenge fight of last year in the early season. And, wow, Niemann holding his own for a bit there, but Gagzella getting the better drive into P10. Niemann down to P11. Dowie Tapper down to P12. What an awful start once again. He needs to sort those out. James Johnson, his teammate, who started P20, he's up to P13. Martin O'Connor, P14. And Mike Bell rounds out the point scorers. So far, though, everyone is really close. And look at Bart the Vos, who's going to be looking on the inside. Don't think he'll get anything done. Niemann looking on the inside of Gagzella again. Nothing doing, though.
Muscat's going to have a good drive for McNaughton for P4. Yeah, that's an Innovision.
Innovision?
Not Innovision. Wow. Shout out to last year. Bam. Wow.
I have no idea who that was. We will forget them anyway, because Matt Richards is
It was
leading.
one of the Street Fighters.
You think? Oh, it must be Tapper.
Yes, it was one of the Street Fighters.
His season. That season, really?
Yeah.
And is that Sven de Vries failing as well? Yes, it is.
It
Sven de
is.
Vries is down to 16th. That's a really poor start for our Champions League leader. He's 15th now. But anyway, that was a manic lap one. Matt Richards leads, though, from Philip Pushka, from Alex Cooper.
Yeah, don't let that position get to you. Matt?
Yeah. It's only 25 points, mate.
Yeah, that's going to be a scary and uncomfortable position for Matt, but let's just see how he can keep it together with Philip Pushka closing in. This is the sector where Philip Pushka is strongest. I want to see how much Pushka is going to close into the back of Matt Richards. Matt Richards, though, does have the straight line speed advantage. So,
that's very true, yes.
You know, what's going to happen there?
And further, I mean, this is just like, we're seeing just exactly what happens. People mess it up at the start. Pushka has a great start, and he's in already on lap 2 of 19 with a really good chance of taking the second consecutive win. But look at Alex Cooper. He is hounding the back of Pushka at the moment, and we'll see whether Cooper can do anything into the first corner here. And no offence to Richards, good driver. I've said I think he may even finish on the podium, but I think the battle for the win is between these two men right here, Pushka and Cooper. Cooper unable to do anything into turn 1, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, as much as Matt, you know, I'm sorry, no. As much as I do think that Matt is a wildly underrated driver by quite a lot of people, as his teammate has left the game, as Thomas Jacobs. That won't do too good for his videos. But Matt is a wildly underrated driver, but to hold back Pushka and Cooper, I do not think so. However, he did gain 2/10 in the first sector, did Matt Richards. So, you never know.
You never know these things, do you? Where is our Mr. Championship leader? Where has he gone?
P13 at the moment.
Not really where he wants to be, is it?
It's not where you'd expect the championship leader to be.
Behind Mike Bell in P12. No offence to Mike as well, but his talents lie with tyre conservation and alternative strategies, not speed, and he's ahead of De Vries in the sprint race.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that Mike does seem to avoid all the carnage on the first lap.
Actually, a shout out to his teammate Niemann and up into P8.
Indeed. Also, Matt Richards gained a 10th in the second sector, so clearly Pushka and Cooper fighting away is giving Matt Richards an advantage to give him a 1.3 second lead at the moment.
This is lovely. Really is.
Yep.
And of
Shout
course,
out to Supercup 2014.
Yeah, indeed, and we have yet to see. Oh, you say look at that little advantage. That is just slashed
destroyed
by 0.5 of a second. That was insane in that final sector alone. And Matt Richards, we saw him fall slightly off the pace the further he got into that option tyre stint last race, and I fear the same thing is happening here, and it's not exactly like Pushka is being hassled by Alex Cooper now, so I reckon the whole outcome of this race will be determined by how much Matt Richards can give Pushka trouble in getting past him.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, as I described this back in Malaysia, is that these tyres don't really properly degrade. You know, they don't drop off until I think there's about 20% left. But what they do is they overheat. They thermally degrade, and that's what you're kind of seeing with a few of these drivers. The track temperature at the moment is only 32. It's not as hot, nowhere near as hot as it was back in Malaysia, but you'll see a lot of these tyres thermally degrade, and so the drivers that can keep them cool can stop them from sliding across the track, which I think Philip Pushka has learned. Then that lead is getting sliced down.
No, that's just gone. That one corner, gone.
Yeah.
All of it.
And,
just
Philip
locked up
Pushka
massively.
Going for the lead.
Surely he's got it. Oh, no, he hasn't.
That straight line speed of the TSA at the moment is keeping
that
it.
braking of the TSA, he's lost it, hasn't it?
Yeah, but we'll see what he can do under the straight line.
And Cooper is primarily in the slipstream, isn't he? Pushka's had to pull back in, really, to gain some advantage from it. And here we go. This is the battle for the lead. Matt Richards stuck in the middle. Oh, he's not. He's pretty much led him through, hasn't he?
Yeah, he should have gone.
Oh, he's still there. He's still there. He's still battling for the lead. And there's a bit of contact, but Pushka has it. And Pushka leads this race. And I would say now, looking very much to be on for... Oh, it says contact in the back. Who is that? Who was that missing a front wing? Oh, it's Tom Parker. Tom Parker's missing a front wing and a front wheel. And I would say that's his day done and over with.
Unless they're going to pull out the Welters gaffer tape.
No, they're not. He's gone.
No,
so Tom Parker becomes our second retirement from this race.
Cooper past Richards. However, Richards on the outside for 9 and 10. Let's see what he can do. Just lets him go.
And I fear he's going to get a bit mugged here now, unfortunately, by Jason Muscat and Adrian McNaughton, who are a very close pursuit. Though, mind you, Matt Richards is making a meal of it, and he's going to be on the inside of Alex Cooper. He's past Alex Cooper into P10. He's sticking up there, isn't he? But he can't do anything really. Alex Cooper's car's just set up so much better. And Philip Pushka running away with the lead now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much sorted that Pushka's got this one as much as Cooper. I've got a lot of respect for you. I don't think you're going to be closing in that one.
No. I mean, ever since he pulled out that pole position, we were just like, wow, that's it, really. Game, set, match.
Yep, indeed. Game, set, match. Completely done. Finished and over. We can all go home.
Yeah.
When it comes to race winning, however, throughout the grid, that's where we're having the interesting races. Matt Richards has moved himself back up into P2.
Oh, and Jason Muscat
up to P3, yes.
As well. Oh, that was really nice and opportunistic by Jason Muscat, who uses the double slipstream of Matt Richards and Alex Cooper to get himself up into the podium position once again. And Alex mugged of 2 places in one straight.
Yeah, that's just showing the downforce difference between the 3 different cars, 3 different teams. Alex Cooper, having a little bit of having a look on the inside for turn 4. However, no cigar there to be taken.
Just thinking, Philip Pushka hasn't actually pulled away that much. Wow!
Well, I've done that.
That was scary.
Yeah.
And that was a very good save, actually, from Alex Cooper. Quite slippery out there.
Yeah, the thing is that with these curbs, when you go off, you just have to completely avoid the curbs. If you sit on them, you'll die.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to just go over them and hope that it's not too slippy out there. That's the thing with these curbs here, is that they're just slippy.
I'm just thinking, the one thing that we haven't seen, of course, is we saw the Adonises easily make it past away on the option tyres. Philip Pushka absolutely did not pit as late as the Adonis guys, did he?
No.
He was about a couple of laps before, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think Pushka's got this tyre wear. I think he's got it figured out. I know. Matt Richards going a bit too wide on the final couple of turns there, but.
And that's going to be Jason Muscat's position, surely, especially with the straight line speed of the Adonis. And now Cooper. Well, Cooper's trying to get the best of both worlds, but I mean, look at his straight line speed. Cooper is getting left behind as Muscat dives through for P2, and Richards locking up there, almost laying Cooper back past as well, but he's able to keep it going, and he's going into the slipstream. And Jason Muscat now, and You must always leave at the spacer, and Muscat does leave at the spacer, and unfortunately, Richards leaves a bit of too much of the spacer, and almost lets Cooper back into P3, but was just about able to hold on.
Oh, Cooper with a little bit of a slide through 5, but it's always a fun line to take. It's the sideways one. Not my favourite. Although actually, in a few weeks' time, there will be a lot of sliding around this track because the flat sixes is coming here, and they're going to be sliding all over the place.
Shout out to the WSS season starting next week, same time, basically exactly the same time as tonight started. So that'll be myself and Mike Pittman on commentary, and we are expecting a very, very tight championship, much tighter than last year.
Yeah, I'll probably be in bed or something. I was going to drive, and then I decided it was a good idea not to.
You were going to commentate, and then you were like, no. And then you were going to drive, and then you were like,
I was going to commentate, then I was going to drive, and then...
You just couldn't care, really.
Well, yeah, I had a couple of drives for other people, then decided, best not.
You took one of mine as well.
Oh, I did take one of yours, yeah, indeed. Cheers. Now, back to the race. 2/10 is the gap between Matt Richards and Jason Muscat. Matt Richards is going to try and fight for that position back. Obviously, these two run with the lower downforce and the higher top speed. Matt Richards is going to try the outside. Is he going to pull it off? He is indeed. Matt Richards back up to P2.
He is not letting go, is he?
He is not. He really, really wants that P2.
He is... No, let's not use that metaphor, James. Looking into turn 4 now. We have Jason Muscat trying around the outside, but Matt Richards placing it nicely, and they've got to be wary of Alex Cooper. Maybe not the fastest in a straight line, but he is going to be staying with these guys as long as he can, hoping and praying that one mistake will see him take his... it would be his first podium position.
Muscat's on the inside for 9 and 10. Yeah, he's going to be on the inside for 9 and 10.
And through he goes into turn 9. Richards is going to try his very best to stay with him. And indeed, onto the back straight here. He's going to try and...
Oh, is that Sven de Vries? Oh, Nico de Koninck. I was going to say, is that Sven de Vries there coming up to the land? That's pretty awkward.
Yeah. No, Sven de Vries is actually in P10, if you want an update on our championship leader. But still nowhere near where he needs to be, actually. And Kantonen is going to be closing in on the lead, as well as Philip Pushka, indeed, who's going to be... Well, I mean, look at that gap now, 2.3 seconds. He's really looking like he's going to make a dent here.
Well, you say that. I mean, you know, it's 2.3 seconds after 7 complete laps at the moment. It's going to be 8 complete laps to the line. So 2.3 is not as bad as last time. I think at this point, you know, we had 5 or 6 second gap. So Pushka's not pulling out. He's trying to conserve those tyres, or these are just going a lot faster. Matt Richards to the inside.
That's a different... Oh! And that's well defended from Jason
It is indeed a different...
Yeah. That's my close fighting sound.
Yeah,
You'll probably hear lots of other sounds from me throughout the season, but that's one close fighting one. Jason Muscat, that was really good defence, actually. Matt Richards is going to try and go around the outside of turn 4 here. Very popular move from today's racing, a little bit of a wiggle. Really awkward corner, actually. It's a downhill camber one, and so you get natural understeer out to the left. God, look at me sounding rather smart there. And it's really difficult to contain because then you've got the oversteer of the car and everything. But look at Cooper, actually. He's going to want to get in on this action. And what are you laughing at?
I'm going to try and sound all smart and everything, and the understeer and the stuff. Yeah, you were doing a good job right up until the and other stuff. It was pretty good. nice, intelligent.
Never
James
good enough. I never get the Lewis McGlade seal of approval from you, do I?
I try. I really try.
You try and find every positive you can. Oh well.
Except with this track, it's still a rubbish track. Oh, Alex Cooper having a little bit of a dive bomb, but not.
That's not working, is it? No. And let's see, we've got Ascari Canton here. Not Ascari Canton. Where is he? He's down in P6. Jason Muscat, sorry. He is trying his very best to stay ahead of Matt Richards. But Matt Richards, I mean, he is not dropping off, is he? At all. And it's not even like we're seeing him lose tyre. We're seeing him lock up all over the place. But if anything, that TSA is a better straight line speed than the Adonis, and he's going to try once again to go into turn 1, and he's got it. He's absolutely got it. I think Jason will have the better drive, and he's going to try and stay with Matt Richards here. Oh, and got his wheel bang on that straight as well. Goodness me. But Jason Muscat able to hold on just about. Matt Richards seriously impressing here today.
Yeah, I don't think you'd disagree with me stating that Matt Richards is currently the most impressive driver of the day, the biggest impress that we've seen so far, as Alex Cooper trying to get himself around the outside but doesn't quite do it. I also saw that Ari Neiman and Gaxella had switched positions, however they're quite far apart.
As have Canton and McNaughton. Canton number to P5, McNaughton down to P6, but still in P6, which is much better than his teammate Gaxella, currently down in P11.
Yeah, Jason Muscat also coming up to lap Andreas Waters, who said that it was his last race this evening.
Oh, Jason Muscat has wide, yes. Yes, he has. So Matt Richards is back into P2, and now Jason Muscat's got Alex Cooper to worry about. Oh, he's going to have to try around the outside. Oh, that's a lovely move from Alex Cooper, but Jason Muscat is still there, still holding on. They're going past Andreas Waters now, really sensible, getting off track, getting out of the way. Matt Richards is going to have to try and take advantage of this battle. Jason Muscat around the outside of the final turn. You don't see that often. And I'd imagine with his top-line speed, he'll just be able to stay ahead. Oh, dynamic battling here from Alex Cooper. Trying to get out the slipstream. He's got back in now. And heading down into turn 1. The gap between Pushka and Richards is 4.2 seconds. Richard safely into turn 1. And I think Muscat has used that straight line speed advantage in comparison to Cooper to be able to pull away from the Englishman. We have our 4th retirement of the day, and that is Maurice Bracan, Pushka's teammate.
Yeah, it's quite a shame for Maurice. We've obviously had 4 from this race. I think we had 5 or 6 last time. But back to those staying in the race. I think Matt Richards is going to come under heavy fire again from Jason Muscat. But not quite yet.
Not quite yet indeed. My question to you, Lewis, now is we're on lap 11 of 19 here. 7 laps to go. No. 8 laps to go.
8 to go, one across the line.
I need to say quick maths, James, otherwise it doesn't work. See, 8 laps to go after this one. There's Canton and McNaughton in the background. They are not that far away, realistically.
Yeah, I reckon they'll catch up and this will be a 5-way battle for P2. But once again, Pushka running away with it, showing that this Super Cup formula that we've got at the moment is appearing to be a you win one, you win the next. When is that going to stop?
Don't ask
Jason
me,
Muscat,
I can't see into the future.
But Jason Muscat, however, big drive down to T14.
He's on the inside, and they go side by side. Matt Richards stays ahead, but Jason Muscat ultimately will have the slipstream. And as we've seen many times before today, I'm afraid that usually means that you're going to be taken down into turn 1. Though Matt Richards is doing a decent job, isn't he? And there's Alex Cooper on the inside as well. Jason going to try around the outside, cuts across Cooper's nose nicely.
Now,
his line astern going into the second straight, but look at Canton and
I was going to say, you were saying it. There they are. Bam, right into the back. Jason Muscat on the inside of Matt Richards. A little bit of contact between the two of them. But Matt Richards, I think, holding that P2 at the moment. A lot of swerving from Matt there along that bit, but obviously...
Look how much Cooper's caught up. Look at that, he's going to be on the... Oh, contact between Muscat and Richards, sorry.
It's not Jacobs.
No, not Jacobs. He's out of the race. But that has meant that Alex Cooper is through into P3, actually, because of that contact between Richards and Muscat. And he's through into P2 because of Matt Richards going wide. This is absolutely epic stuff for the podium positions. And, well, Cooper taking full advantage here. But look at Matt Richards. He's through on the outside. He's going to try him outside. Oh, my word. He tried to overtake 2 cars in one corner. That didn't work. So Richards still on the podium, though. He's gone wide here. Muscat. Oh, contact! Contact, and Muscat's round. Muscat's round. He's down to P6. And is he still ahead of James Johnson? Yes, he is. James Johnson, who's actually done a really good job to get it back into P7 there. Good job for Street Fighter. But Alex Cooper into P2. Matt Richards into P3. And Adrian McNaughton from absolutely nowhere. He's gone.
Oh, Matt
Richards! Oh, no! Oh, and has he lost his front wing as well?
No, I don't think he did.
Okay, yeah, he's managed to retain that. That was such a shame for Matt Richards, and let's just see what happened to him here. Oh, he basically just flared up the throttle far too much, and they just threw him wide. So from what was looking like a podium drive, P7 is still a fantastic result, I think, for Matt and TSA, but it could have been so much more if not for that one mistake.
Yeah, I'm sure I have to go and talk to him after this race now. But yeah, it's gonna be a shame. I think now he's also gonna have overheated those tyres, and It's going to be uncomfortable for the last 7 laps of this Bahrain sprint race. However, look who's in the battle now for the podium position. It's Adrian McNaughton. He'll try and get his way onto the podium.
What a lovely story that would be as well.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, outshining Axella in every sense of the matter this round.
Yeah, like completely. Good, really, really impressive stuff from Adrian McNaughton.
And unlike last round, he's not having the strategy mistakes either. You know, he's just been there, got on with it, got the job done. And yeah, fair enough to him. Shout out to Sven de Vries, he had a bit of trouble in the earlier laps. He's through back to P8 now. Pretty much damage limitation for him. Shout out to Bart de Vos in P9, who will bring home the first top 10 of the season for Waters Automotive. Kevin Siggy down in P13. I mean, this is just another heap of disappointment for that team, isn't it? Santiago Niza was looking good, didn't impress. Siggy was looking good, doesn't impress. There's not really much you can hide, though. They've just made mistakes of their own accord this round.
Yeah, it's, as I say, you know, that team, it's the scream of no luck. Also, well, Axella getting past Harry Neiman in its full position. Once again, those two fighting away.
With Philip Cullen in there as well. Oof! That was cheeky.
Yeah, it was almost a very cheeky move. But no, those two still fighting away. It's been like this since lap 1. As Manuel Gaxella's having a look on the inside. The smile on Ari's face must be huge.
This was the guy that he couldn't beat in the early season, and he suffered for it. And here he is, in the next category up, defending off the FC champion.
Yeah, indeed. It's gonna feel pretty good.
Where's his teammate, Mike Bell? Out of the points, unfortunately.
Out of the points, yeah, down in P18. He's made a mistake, because he was in P16 the last time I looked at him. So he's made a mistake somewhere.
But anyway, really, really good stuff from Ari. And he should be proud of a double point score if he makes it to the end of the race. We're on lap 14 of 19. Philip Pushka, who leads by 5 seconds. I believe that's come down by half a tenth, actually.
Yeah, I think it's come down quite a bit.
From, not half a tenth, sorry, half a second even.
Yeah, half a second for Cooper. But that top lot, they've all split up since Matt departed their company, shall we say?
Yeah. And actually, so the closest battle is pretty much Neiman and Gaxella Cullen on the cusp of the top 10.
I think Sven's closing up to the back of Matt Richards there for P7 to P8, so that'll be one to look out for later on. But yeah, this top lot has come down again about another tenth as Alex Cooper. So I want to see where Cooper's closing up and whether he can do enough with 5 laps to go in this race. That means he's got to be lapping 1 whole second a lap faster than the man has been so dominant this evening to head his way towards the lead of the race.
Into turn 1, Neiman can't beat Gaxella, or Neiman beats off Gaxella again.
Yeah, probably running low downforce again. Like we've seen so many people defending so easily into that turn. Well, however, yes, Harry Neiman
breaking early there.
Yeah.
Gaxella into P10. So this is probably been the field. The same story throughout the rest of the field. We just haven't seen it all.
Gaxella off.
Whoa.
That was a scary minute.
Excretion was let out.
Yes, it was.
Wow. Gaxella shuffled down to P12. Philip Cullen is into P11 because of that. And I think that pretty much encapsulates Gaxella's season so far. Just it looking fine to... and Kevin Siggy almost returning the favour from Malaysia, almost back-ending him.
Yeah, 4.5 all. Sven de Vries on the inside P8 and P7. Sven de Vries trying to work his way past Matt Richards once again. Well, first time this evening, I think.
Well, remember, Matt Richards does have the straight line speed advantage for one.
He does indeed.
So let's see how he does against Sven de Vries. Oh, look at that. Look how much better traction Sven de Vries has out of that final corner.
Lead came down half a second that lap.
Who was that in the background? Was that Gaxella? Oh,
Gaxella.
Yes, it was.
A little plop off.
Making a reference to my earlier excretion point.
Yeah, sure, why not? Matt Richards defending for P7 in front of not championship leader anymore, Sven de Vries. So third lap in a row that the championship lead has changed. I believe so. Double check for me, quick math, James.
We'll hold on. At the current point in time, Pushka has 96 points, and Gaxella has De Vries would have. He's on 8. Oh,
Matt Richards. Slidey.
I'm just looking, and yeah, that's Sven de Vries up into 7th. So Sven de Vries will have 29 points from today, so that'll be 119. Kantonen has 13 and 16 points, which is 29. So De Vries would still lead.
Yeah, okay. So there we go. De Vries still championship leader. Matt Richards trying to get his way back on the outside though for the next turn. I don't think he's going to do it.
Oh, he's having a go though, isn't he?
He is indeed.
Really stubborn driver, and he's got to be careful actually, because Bart de Vos has really had a resurgent race too here. Remember, he won his Super Cup race in his championship winning year in 2011. Bit of contact. He's still in P9 though, and doing a good job for Waters Automotive. Pushka goes onto lap 17 of 19, only 2 to go. Philip Cullen's been off the track, into P12 he goes. Kevin Siggy benefits from that up into P11. Dawei Tapper into P13, so Gagzella's fallen further behind. And although I don't think Steve Alloy is going to be catching up to Gagzella anytime soon, to see Gagzella in pretty much the same place where we started the last race is pretty surprising, to be honest.
It is indeed. It's not too fortunate a position for MMA Gagzella, but he's now behind Dawei Tapper, which we saw those two battling away in Australia, and of course across quite a lot of the second half of last season in Formula Challenge, where Dawei Tapper always seemed to have an advantage. So whether Gagzella can actually get his way up to the back of that Street Fighter, which I accidentally called an Innovision earlier on. But shout out to Innovision, why not?
I'm surprised it didn't apply for this year, actually. I haven't asked Pavel why he didn't enter Innovision. They finished, P3 in the championship?
Yeah, something like that. They did pretty good last season.
Strong driver pairing with Sukas and Parker.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, anyway.
Yeah, obviously earlier on they took a win at round...
Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco, 5, 4, 5, 6. That one, whatever one Monaco was.
Whatever one it was. Oh, here goes Bart de Vos, on Matt Richards. P8 and P9. And I think Matt Richards, all that battling might have gotten to his tyres, because Bart de Vos is looking... that was a hefty whack.
That was a pretty big bang.
And I really do think that Matt Richards might lose out even P8 here to Bart, which is a shame because he was doing so well. But ultimately, the cream of the crop will always rise to the top, and Bart de Vos does make his way past into P8.
Yeah, but straight line speed. So Matt Richards might be able to get past again.
Very true.
Down to turn 1. He's going to have a nice drive.
Kevin Siggy's had an off. Yes, he has. He's down to P14. Back
Matt
to
Richards
Bart de Vos, though.
Past.
Yep. And nicely as well into turn 1. So Bart de Vos has all the work to do on lap 18 of 19. Only 2 laps to go for these guys.
That slide! That slide from Matt. Jeez.
I need to see that. I completely missed that while I was looking at Philip.
It was a slight slide coming out of 2.
Oh, yes, that slide.
3.
Yeah. I see what
Good catch.
Good catch. There's been a lot of good catches in Bahrain, actually, from what I've seen. So, we haven't even gone through...
Bart de Vos
this
on
is
the
a
outside.
good battle, isn't it?
Yep. I think Matt is making Bart trip up a bit,
yeah.
if I'm honest.
It's like, what do I do? Do I go on the inside? Do I go on the outside? Do I even try and overtake him? He's proven... I think Matt Richards has really proven his mettle in the Super Cup field today. I was a little bit... What's the best word? I was a little bit sceptical of Matt coming into Super Cup. He didn't exactly shine last year in Formula Challenge. And
he's gone
wide, locks up into P8, goes Bart de Vos, and I think that's pretty much game, set, and match for that battle.
Yeah, it's done.
But you know what? He has really had a massive improvement in 2013. And we've seen him rise and rise and rise and rise. Multiple race winner in ITC. He won the Daytona 500, so he leads the 2014 Masters Championship. And he's proven that he can keep up with podium contenders here in the Super Cup. Top marks to him. Absolutely my driver of the day, no doubt.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Obviously, I've seen him work quite a lot and quite hard on his pace over the Winter Series. So, he's come a long way since last season, and hopefully going to push himself to a decent position later on this year. I reckon he might actually be able to get a podium if he sticks to it later on this year. He just needs to get that tyre wear sorted out, which is clearly costing him some pretty big problems at the moment. 3.1 seconds is your gap between the lead as we are on the final lap of the race.
Look at this train between Neiman and Tapper, Cullen and Gagzella. All together. Tapper through. That was contact. And look at Philip Cullen there. Sneaky Squirrel trying to go down the inside. Does he have... Oh, no, you can't go 3 wide there. And Nieminen, how on earth he was able to hold on to P10, I do not know. But he is there. Philip Cullen 11th. Dawei Tapper 12th. Emmanuel Gagzella there in P13 still with Kevin Siggy. If anything happens between those 4, he'll be laughing and picking up the points. Oh, this is brilliant battling once again. Just showing how good fun this Super Cup field is. Though, the real star of the show has been this man, Philip Pushka. In the end, probably cruising to the end. Maybe it was tyre wear. The gap's down to 2.1 seconds. Nevertheless, though, it's the third... Oh!
What? I don't know what happened there.
I don't know what happened there, but Philip Pushka wins 2 in a row. And Askari Kantonen... Oh, dear! Oh, dear! Askari's nicked the podium from Jason Muscat. Was that... Yeah, he has. I think that was final lap or something. Askari Kantonen takes P3, Alex Cooper P2, Muscat P4, McNaughton, what a great result for him, P5. James Johnson P6, Sven de Vries remains our championship leader, but he will have had a lot of damage through Pushka and Kantonen getting better results. And Muscat indeed, he's P7. Bart de Vos, great result for Waters Automotive, he's P8. Matt Richards, after being in the podium for so long, ends up P9. Ari Nieminen, great result again, P10 for Mia Zurich. Philip Cullen, P11 for FA, the lone FA after Tom Parker crashed out. Dawei Tapper, P12, another disappointing round for him, really. Emmanuel Gagzella, P13, another disappointing round for him. Kevin Siggy, another disappointing round for him for P14. And Florian Geyer, who started near the end of the field after crashing out early in race 1, picks up a point for Simcraft, so a good recovery drive from the German.
Indeed, indeed. But ultimately, third round in a row, third interesting round in a row, third double in a row for the winner of the first race going on to win the second race. Is this a trend that we're going to see continue on into China in 2 weeks' time? Well, I don't know what way to find out. To tune in 2 weeks' time, where we'll be taking you through the action and be really good fun. I'm sure it's been good fun 3 times in a row, but yeah, no, it was interesting stuff.
Right, I'm just totting up the points now. So that's 99, 100. Wait, let me work this out. So that's 29 points for Kantonen, 97, 106. There we go. Quick maths, James. Probably sounding like a lunatic to everyone at home. I do apologise.
Yeah, it's just something we started last season. Quick maths, James, and his wonderful maths. I think that started actually in the first round. We did commentary together with your just completely awful maths.
Almost as bad as Will Buxton.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, sure, why not? I wouldn't go that far, but you know.
I don't know whether to say that as a compliment or an insult, really.
I'd go with compliment, sure, why not? Why not?
Why not? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, another great round. Ultimately, no championship lead change, but Pushka has brought himself right back up into championship contention. And that is the big news story of the day. Hopefully we'll be able to have some interviews. I don't actually see that many people in the room. Also, Menno Klont. Okay, right, so we've had confirmation from Menno that it was basically a technical failure on his part. It was a connection issue that saw him not be able to take part in race 2, which was a shame, as he was actually looking pretty good. He's always a good contender for points, is Menno. And to see him not even be able to get a chance to score some points is a shame. Nevertheless, we have 2 people, hopefully. Yes, we do have 2 people ready to chat with us. And I think we should start with current championship leader after 2 rounds in a row now. Sven de Vries, you now lead the championship, 119 points to Askari Kantonen's 106. A very good race 1 where you got through to P2. Race 2 was a little bit more difficult to explain. What happened from your point?
Race 2 was a disaster. I had a lot of front wing, so I could brake a lot later than everybody else, and I was getting past relatively easy on the straights. And just as turn 1, I got caught out by surprise by Askari's early braking in race 1, which because he had low front wing and low rear wing. And I kind of just watched the replay, and at the same thing happened in race 2. I accidentally messed up.
Ultimately, you still got 9 points actually from race 2, which, considering from where you were, wasn't too bad a result for you at all. Are you worried about the dominance that Pushka has shown here today, though? We saw Pushka in the previous 2 rounds, fast, but not able to keep up with the likes of yourself and Ascari. Here, he's really laid his marker down, and he's caught up a hell of a lot in the championship. What do you make of his challenge now? Are you going to be looking out for him much more in the later rounds? Are you scared at all?
I'm not sure scared is the right word, but yeah, he's definitely very fast. I noticed pretty quick in race 1 that I wasn't going to catch up to him. I tried a few times and managed to barely match him, but there was no way I was going to be able to catch up to him. So he was simply just too fast. So I focused on what was achievable, and race 1 it was P2, and race 2 was just damage control. And we'll see what happens in the next few rounds. He sure has managed to control his tire wear, which seemed to be a problem in both Melbourne and Malaysia, but he had it very well under control. So yeah, I'm definitely watching out for him.
Thank you very much, Finn. Let's actually talk to now who joins us. The double win, you're keeping along our trend of people who win race 1 will inevitably win race 2. A fantastic start, considering the reverse grid from P9 to P2 in this case of, 3-4 corners, almost as good as Matt Richards' start from race 1. You've caught up a lot in this 1 round alone. You now sit P3 in the championship on 96 points. Sven de Vries in first on 119. What made this race so good for you? Was it just better tyre wear compared to last rounds? Do you really like Bahrain? And can we expect to see that same sort of speed and dominance in the races in the future?
Yeah, Bahrain I don't like, to be honest, and the tyre wear wasn't better, but this time I had a gap, so I could manage my tyres. In the other races I had no gap to afford something like taking up like 3-4 tenths a lap. This time I could, and in race 2 in the end you saw that my tyres went again, and Alex closed down the gap very fast, and I think 1 more lap he would have got me, but good luck this time, and maybe next time as well.
That's interesting you saying that. We were debating whether it was either you cruising or you losing tyres. It's interesting to see there was actually the tyre issue. Talking of tyres, we're heading off to China next, Shanghai circuit. Known to be okay on the tyres, not the best. Benefit straight line speed as well. We saw the Adonis Engineering cars with huge top line speeds on the straights here in Bahrain. Is your plan to do what you did here at Bahrain and go for the higher downforce setups, try and master sectors 1 and 2 in China, or are you going to be more mindful of that massive long straight?
Yeah, I think in China I have to focus a bit more on top speed, because if you think I would have got behind some people with 12, 13 kph more than me on the straight, I would have no chance to actually pass them. I was in a situation where I could pass some guys in the infield in the sector 2, but if I would be behind a train of cars with a lot more top speed than me, I would have no chance. So definitely going for more top speed next round.
Cool, thank you very much, Philip. And finally, we'll end off our interviews with Ascari Canton sitting P2 in the championship on 106 points. Despite Sven having a not so good race 2, you actually earned the same amount of points as him. A 13th and a 16th, getting you to 29 points gained from Bahrain. We saw you with Jason Muscat in the final sectors of this race, and you just were able to get him. Was that a team order, or was that just pure battling because we weren't able to catch it?
Yeah, it was pure battling, and my tires were so poor that I was it race 2? Sorry?
Yeah, it was race 2, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit tired, sorry. Anyway,
don't blame you.
My rear left tire was so worn that I had to brake a lot earlier than usual, and Jason was caught out by that, and he launched inside of me.
Ultimately, we've seen Pushka, Philip here, really catch up. He's now only 10 points behind yourself, with you remaining at 13 points behind De Vries. The real protagonist for this championship seemed to be emerging as U3. We're heading into China next. Is it a track that you particularly like? Are we going to see the sort of speed that we saw in Melbourne, or do you think you're going to be one of those contenders, hopefully for the podium, or maybe even lower?
Well, I certainly hope I can go for the podium, and I'd like to congratulate Philip for the 2 race wins. It's really great for him. At least in Bahrain, the low drag setup worked really well, so I hope it'll work in China too. So watch out.
Watch out. A signal of intention from Ascari Canton. Well done to all 3 of you, by the way. Fantastic results. And we're heading to China now with a confirmed trend. 3 championship protagonists. And a lot to look forward to once again, Lewis.
Yeah, China, very, very different circuit. And yes, I do dislike it just as much as Bahrain. But yeah, it's a very different circuit. You've got lots of like later apex corners, lots of sweeping, long sweeping turns. So tyre wear, if the temperature's up in China, tyre wear will be a big, big issue. But, we've got that to look forward to. And that's going to be really good fun, I feel. 4th round in a row, hopefully 4th interesting round in a row. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen this Super Cup season. Throwing up lots of different things round to round. But obviously, before that, you have the Super League to look forward to. And I believe, as you say, WSS starts next week. So
in a week's time.
Yep. And
next Wednesday.
Yeah, that's going to be good fun. But yeah, no, we've got lots of interesting stuff to happen before Super Cup next time. And then we've got, obviously, Super Cup next time, which I'm just utterly excited for.
We hope you're excited for it too. Do make sure to join into all those broadcasts before the Super Cup in 2 weeks' time, where we head off to Shanghai. Such great racing, such a good year for GPVWC. We hope you agree with us, and we hope to see you next time here on the Super Cup. From myself, James, my co-commentator Lewis McGlade, and of course from our wonderful cameraman Dave Carr-Smith, it's a very warm goodbye.